The summer night was warm in Konoha, and through the dimly lit market streets ran a furious mob, about 40 villagers strong, some even shinobi and kunoichi. Their focus was a terrified boy, no older than 6, sprinting for his life. "Please no, I don't want to die," the boy cried out. This frightened child was none other than Naruto Uzumaki, son of the late Red Reaper Kushina Uzumaki and the Yellow Flash Minato Namikaze, and vessel of the Kyuubi. That last fact alone made the mob chase him, convinced he was the demon itself. "Get back here, monster!" a man shouted from behind. Fear surged through Naruto, pushing his small body to move even faster. Glancing back, he noticed some distance had opened between them. Quickly, he darted into a side alley and crouched behind a trash bin, steadying his breath with practiced silence. "We know you're here, you little abomination," came a voice echoing down the narrow lane. Naruto, trembling, peeked out instinctively, only to lock eyes with the furious crowd. "Nowhere to run, you demon brat," one man sneered, a wicked grin stretching across his face. Naruto tried crawling back, tears streaming down his cheeks, but there was nowhere left to go. His crying only angered them more. How dare a monster weep like a human? None of them noticed the air growing colder, or the frost creeping along the walls. Before they could strike, sharp ice spikes erupted from the ground and walls, skewering every single villager where they stood. Eyes squeezed shut, Naruto only heard the sickening sounds and felt warm liquid splash across his face. When he opened his eyes, horror filled him at the sight. Vomiting in shock, he stumbled to his feet and fled the alley. "I can't do this anymore," he whispered, running toward his home. Naruto's apartment slamming the door behind him, Naruto rushed into his small room and grabbed a backpack. He moved around quickly, pulling clothes from the cupboard, instant ramen from the kitchen, and flipping the couch over to lift 3 loose floorboards. Beneath them lay his few treasures. A small toad-shaped wallet full of money, a slim case containing his hunting weapon, a compound bow, and a quiver of 40 arrows, sealed tightly to prevent loss without chakra use. The last item was a red necklace marked with a black spiral, the only thing he'd had when taken to the orphanage. He stared at it for a moment, then hung it around his neck. Replacing the floorboards and righting the couch, Naruto slung his quiver and bow, pocketed his wallet, and secured his bag. Before leaving, he scribbled a note for his adoptive grandfather and walked out, heading straight for Konoha's gates. At the gates perched atop a building near the entrance, Naruto watched the 2 guards below, both asleep. Rolling his eyes, he dropped silently to the ground and slipped past them into the forest beyond the walls, vowing not to return until he was ready. Meanwhile, on a road deep within the forest, 2 figures made their way toward the village. The taller of the 2 had long, spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail, red markings down his eyes, and wore a green kimono over mesh armor with a red haori. A large scroll rested on his back. This was none other than Jiraiya, one of Konoha's legendary Sannin. Beside him walked a shorter man with short blonde hair streaked with red, the tips of his bangs a dark crimson. His blue sleeveless shirt was partially hidden by a tattered black trench coat, and blue pants were tied at the ankles. Tattoos of foxes and the kanji for ice marked his body, and strapped to his back was the massive bandaged sword Samehada. This was Naruto Uzumaki, returning to the village more than 6 years after disappearing that fateful night. "Come on, kid. I'm sure Sensei's dying to see you," said Jiraiya. "Yeah, I just hope the villagers aren't as thrilled," Naruto replied flatly. "Relax, they won't lay a hand on you while I'm here. By this time tomorrow, you'll officially be a ninja, and if anyone tries something, you can defend yourself however you see fit," Jiraiya said with a smirk. "Thanks, Oji-san," Naruto answered, smiling faintly at his godfather. He'd learned about his parents and godparents from Jiraiya 6 months ago, under the promise he'd keep it secret until he made Chunin. At the gate, they signed in, the guards still fast asleep, much to Naruto's annoyance. Nothing had changed. As they walked through the market, villagers began glaring at Naruto, recognizing him instantly. Irritated, Naruto shot back an icy glare so cold it silenced the crowd in an instant. Soon they reached the Hawkage Tower. Rather than use the door, Naruto sprinted up the side of a building and flipped through an open window, landing neatly beside the Hawkage's desk. Jiraiya followed the slower, safer route, climbing in after him. The sight of Naruto left Hiruzen Sarutobi frozen in disbelief. "Look who I found, sensei," Jirya said calmly. "My godson, I was told he died. You found him where?" Hiruzen asked, shocked. "In the capital," Jirya replied, his tone still disturbingly even. "Jirya, there's a good explanation." "Iro-sanin," Naruto interrupted, pulling his godfather's attention. "Oh, right. Before we continue, Sensei Naruto's to join the Genin class taking exams tomorrow," Jirya declared. Hiruzen nodded quickly. "Thanks, Jiji," Naruto grinned before leaping back out the window and heading for the Hawkage Mountain. Next morning, Academy Hash walking down the academy hallway, Naruto stopped at room 222, the class his godfather had mentioned. Sliding the door open, he spotted 3 occupants. A Chunin instructor with a facial scar and dark hair tied back, a bespectacled boy in the back, and another with spiky dark blue hair and sharp, black eyes. "Take a seat," the instructor said. Naruto nodded, setting Samehada beside him at the back desk near the window. Students gradually filled the room. First came a boy with messy brown hair, red fang-like marks on his cheeks, and a small white dog perched on his head. Then a shy girl entered, short blue hair, pale eyes without pupils. Upon seeing him, she walked straight toward Naruto. Hello, why you probably don't remember me, but 6 years ago, why you saved me from some bullies," she stammered. The dog boy blinked in realization. "So that's him," he thought. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, I remember." Just wanted to thank you," Hinata managed, her cheeks pink as Naruto gave her a small nod. "Oh, no worries," said Naruto with a grin, quickly averting his eyes from the girl. She gave a short nod and sat beside the boy with the dog. Soon after, 2 more boys entered the room. One had dark hair tied in a spiky ponytail and droopy brown eyes, giving off a lazy, uninterested vibe. He was talking casually with the second boy, a chubbier one with light brown hair, black eyes, and swirl-like markings on his cheeks. The larger boy was munching on chips as they both climbed the steps and took the seats at the next table over from Naruto. Before long, more students started streaming into the classroom. By then, Naruto had already zoned out, opening a book and losing himself in reading, until the sound of a thunderous rush of footsteps outside snapped his attention back. "I'm gonna win, Inopig," a loud female voice shouted. "Like hell you will, forehead," another yelled back. Curious, Naruto shut his book to see what the fuss was about just as the door nearly flew off its track. A pink-haired girl burst in. "Ha, take that, Inopig. I get to sit next to Sasuke-kun," she squealed, twirling in triumph. "Really? They were fighting over a seat," Naruto muttered, glancing down as a pale-eyed blonde girl walked past. "What did you say?" screeched the pink-haired one, glaring at him. "Oi, Sakura, tone it down, you're killing my ears," complained the dog boy. "Who asked you, mutt?" she snapped. "All right, that's enough. Both of you, sit down," ordered the Chunin instructor. The 2 girls grudgingly obeyed, taking the empty seats beside the black-haired boy. "In case any of you weren't paying attention, we've got a new student joining us for the exams," said the Chunin, gesturing toward Naruto. "How come he can just show up today? I thought we had to attend the full classes," asked the spiky-haired boy in an irritated tone. "Years of training outside the village tends to make that tricky," replied Naruto coolly. "Having one of the Sannin vouch for me helps too." His sarcastic tone made the boy scowl at him. "Bite me," Naruto shot back, flipping him off. The glare deepened. "Enough. Both of you, quiet down, we're starting the test," said the Chunin as another proctor entered with a stack of papers. Once everyone had won, the first Chunin spoke again. "Turn them over and begin." Naruto did so and raised an eyebrow at the questions. This is what they expect Genin to know? Pathetic, he thought. "Wow, this place has gone downhill," said a smooth female voice inside his head. "Did I wake you, Akin-chan?" Naruto asked mentally. "Nope, been awake for a while, just bored out of my mind," she replied lazily. "Same here," Naruto muttered as his hand automatically filled in the answers. "Why don't you come inside and keep me company?" she teased suggestively. "Pervert fox," he mumbled. "Oh, look, a tough question," he thought, ignoring her. "Why don't you come in here so I can make you hard?" she purred in his head. "Can you not?" he said flatly. "Please, like you don't love it," Akin teased again. "Why did I ever agree to that contract?" he sighed. Because it got you a summoning pact and access to 2 tails of my Yaokai energy, she reminded him smugly. If I'd known you were this much of a perv, I would have reconsidered, he shot back. Ah, Naruto-kun, you wound me, she said dramatically. Quit being such a diva, he replied, as her image appeared in his mind, pale skin, long white hair, fox ears, 9 fluffy tails, and a white kimono, pouting cutely. That was mean, Naru-kun, she whimpered in a baby voice. You're too sweet to stay mad, he said. The unseen Akin blushed furiously. By then, Naruto had finished the test and leaned back, setting down his pen before dozing off. Time's up, everyone, called the nervous Chunin. Hand in your papers on your way out. We'll take a short break while I grade them. One by one, the students filed out, giving in their tests. Naruto waited until the room was empty before standing, grabbing Samehada, and calmly placing his paper on the desk. Then he headed outside, ignoring the others as he leapt up into a nearby tree, resting against the trunk with his sword in his lap. Oi, fight me, yelled a familiar voice from below. Naruto ignored it. Hey, up there, I'm talking to you, came the voice again. Naruto opened his eyes and glanced down at the black-haired boy glaring up at him. Go away, Naruto said simply. I said fight me, the boy demanded. Not interested. You're not worth my time, Naruto yawned. Fight me and hand over that sword, a loser like you doesn't deserve it, the boy sneered. Naruto stood, slung Samehada over his shoulder, and disappeared in a swirl of snow, leaving the boy fuming. Now perched on the academy's roof railing, Naruto watched the other students running around below like headless chickens. Half an hour later, the Chunin finally emerged with the graded tests. All right, everyone, to the kunai range, he called. Naruto waited until they turned the corner before quietly following, staying out of sight but close enough to observe. This test measures your throwing accuracy, explained the Chunin. Each of you will get 5 kunai. The outer ring's worth 1 point, center ring 10. You'll earn bonus points for distance. Do we have to use kunai, or can we test accuracy another way? Asked Naruto suddenly, startling a few students. What do you mean by that? The Chunin asked. With a puff of smoke, a sleek compound bow appeared in Naruto's hands. This, he said simply. A bow, that's fine, it qualifies, replied the Chunin, intrigued. Anyone want to go first? He asked. I'll go, said the black-haired boy confidently. All right, Sasuke, you're up. Sasuke stepped back about 30 meters and hurled his kunai all at once. 4 hit bullseye, the 5th slightly off. Good work, Sasuke. 49 points plus 30 bonus, total 79, said the Chunin. Sasuke smirked arrogantly as he walked past Naruto. Try beating that blondie. Gladly, Naruto replied with a small grin. So, who's next? The Chunin asked. Me, Naruto said, stepping forward, then continued walking until he exited the academy grounds, climbed halfway up a wall across the street, and drew his bow. Without hesitation, he fired. The first arrow struck the bullseye dead center. The next arrow split the first cleanly from nock to tip, then another, and another, until 5 arrows formed a perfect line. Show off, Akin teased in his mind. You love it, he answered with a smirk. It took Uruka a few seconds to find his voice. Excellent work, Naruto, 50 points for precision and the full 100 for distance. Naruto nodded, retrieved his arrows, and returned to the stunned group. Kiba, you're next, Uruka said, breaking their trance. An hour later, target practice finished, and it was time for the Taijutsu exam, either survive 5 minutes in the ring or land 1 clean hit. The proctor now was the white-haired Chunin instead of Uruka. The pink and blonde girls barely lasted 5 minutes. The shy girl from before managed a hit within 1. Kiba scored early too, the chubby boy landed a hit fast, and the lazy one simply dodged until the timer ended. The bug user landed a strike in seconds, as did Sasuke. Finally, it was Naruto's turn. All right, Naruto, you're up, said Uruka. The white-haired Chunin straightened his stance, clearly more cautious than before. Great. Another one who thinks I'm you, Akin-chan, Naruto muttered mentally. Kick his ass, Naru-kun, and I'll give you a reward, she purred. The only reward I need is seeing your beautiful smile, he said softly, making her blush unseen. Begin, Uruka shouted. The Chunin lunged forward, throwing a punch, but Naruto flipped backward into a bicycle kick that connected with the man's chin, snapping his head up. Using the momentum, Naruto landed on his hands and immediately kicked both feet into the Chunin's gut, launching him clear out of the ring. "Well done, Naruto," stammered Uruka. Naruto stood, dusted off his coat, and walked back to the line. "All right, everyone, back inside for the ninjutsu portion," Uruka instructed. Once seated, he continued, "We'll call you in one by one to perform your techniques. First up, Shino," he said as the silent boy in glasses followed him out. An hour later, Naruto lingered at the rear of the classroom, studying his classmates. Most left little impression, probably the type to never make it past their first mission. A handful, however, stood out. Dog Boy looked like he could spar decently if paired with someone able. The apology girl and the glasses boy could be decent partners, though Duckbutt, that blonde idiot, would probably do something reckless and paint a target on his own back. The lazy kid intrigued Naruto, as did the stocky boy, but he decided it was wiser to wait until teams were assigned before trying to buddy up with anyone. One after another, students filed out, returning shortly with headbands tucked somewhere on their person. After roughly an hour, Uruka poked his head through the doorway. "Naruto, you're up," he called. Naruto nodded, slung his sword across his back, and stepped into the next room, where Uruka stood with a scowling silver-haired Chunin and a few more Chunin assembled. "All right, Naruto, show us Kawarami no Jutsu," Uruka instructed. Naruto obliged. A smokescreen billowed, and for a heartbeat he was replaced by a log, then he reappeared in another swirl of smoke. "Next, Henge," Uruka said. Naruto nodded and vanished again in a plume, returning moments later transformed into a figure some of the Chunin recognized only from rumor and wanted postings. Kasame Hashigaki, the so-called monster of the hidden mist. Naruto shifted back once more amid smoke. "Well done, though why Kasame Hashigaki?" Uruka asked. "That's nobody's affair but mine," Naruto replied, not wanting to explain that he'd once trained under Kasame before the man's death, the reason Samehada had found its way into his possession. He wasn't ashamed of it, he just didn't see the need to tell the Chunin. "All right, finally, Bunshin Jutsu," Uruka continued. Naruto performed a series of hand signs, but they were unusual. "Kori Bunshin, no Jutsu, Ice Clone Jutsu," Naruto announced as the air around him crystallized into a perfect duplicate. Uruka's mouth hung open at the display. "Well done, Naruto," Uruka stammered, offering a black-clothed headband. Naruto took it, tied it around his brow, and returned to the classroom. Several hours later, by early evening, around 8:30, Naruto was heading to his godfather's place. He and Jiraiya had celebrated Naruto's promotion with a meal at Ikaraku Ramen. Naruto had stayed longer to catch up with the stand's father-daughter owners. As he walked past the Hawkage Tower, he spotted movement at the corner of his eye. The same silver-haired Chunin from the test was trying to move stealthily toward the front gate, a large scroll strapped to his back. Naruto leapt to a nearby roof and followed. He squinted at the scroll, the forbidden scroll of seals. No ordinary Chunin should possess such an item. The man dashed through the gate past two sleeping guard Chunin. Naruto seethed at their negligence and trailed after the traitor. "What can a genin like you do?" Mizuki sneered, glaring down at Naruto as if forgetting the beating he'd taken earlier that day. "You wanna see?" Naruto snapped, unslinging Samehada and lunging. Mizuki pulled a large Fuma shuriken to block. Naruto's strength, honed in their earlier spar, drove the sharkskin blade through the block and forced the shuriken from Mizuki's grip. "I held back in our spar, Mizuki. I didn't want to hurt a comrade, no matter what you think of me, but you proved you're a traitor." Naruto smiled grimly and rested Samehada on his shoulder. Mizuki barely had time to speak before Naruto struck him in the gut. Samehada drew a bit of chakra as it bit into him. "What did you do to me?" Mizuki growled, clutching the wound. Naruto didn't answer. He moved again, one hand gripping Samehada, the other shrouded in a thin, icy haze. Mizuki rolled back to avoid the blade but landed within reach of Naruto's frozen hand, the limb chilled on contact. "Let go!" Mizuki barked, kicking him off. "Fine. Then be like that Kirigakure no Jutsu," Naruto called, mist rising to cloak the area and hide him from view. "Where are you, demon?" Mizuki called, searching. Pain flared in his back, he collapsed, screaming. "All right, I was going to toy with you. But now," Mizuki roared, uncorking a bottle and downing it. The wound on his back healed and his chakra surged into something twisted and inhuman. Fur sprouted across his body as he transformed into a bipedal, beast-like form. Figures, Orochimaru's hand in this, Naruto muttered from within the mist. He lunged with same hata, but the beast ducked under the strike. Mizuki howled and charged. Naruto slammed his mist-coated hand into the creature's chest, the cold spreading inward. Mizuki crumpled, and Naruto watched as his blood and pulse froze. "That was overkill, Naru-kun," came a voice, acking. "It was a modified curse mark. Who knows what he'd become?" Naruto replied. He dragged the fallen Chunin, slung him and the scroll over his shoulder and returned to the village, heading straight for the Hokage Tower. The doors to Hiruzen's office were closed. Voices inside spoke of the missing forbidden scroll. Naruto pushed the door open and stepped in. All eyes swung to him. "I think this belongs here, Hokage-sama," Naruto said, tossing the scroll to the elderly leader. "How did you acquire it, Naruto-kun?" Hiruzen asked. "I was walking past the tower and saw this guy acting shady," Naruto said, indicating the man at his feet. "I followed him, caught up and engaged. Disabled him, brought him back, and returned the scroll. Good work, you'll get B-rank pay for this. Leave the traitor and you are dismissed, and be at the academy tomorrow by 8. Naruto bowed, dropped the man and left. Street hash walking home, Naruto's attention snagged on an alleyway. Halfway down, 2 men stood over a woman who looked incapacitated, drugged, or unconscious. They were in the act of undressing her. One man leered, the other had his hands on her clothing. "Relax, we'll make it quick," one of them said. "You two need to learn to respect women," Naruto said from behind them. Both men went down hard. The woman slumped as she faded, and Naruto caught her before she hit the ground. He noticed a mark on her neck and felt Akin's presence in his mind. "Akin-chan, I need you," he thought. "Small amount of yokai activity," the voice replied. A warm chakra flowed into Naruto. He eased the woman down, infused chakra into his fingertip, and sketched a delicate Fuinjutsu sigil centered on the mark at her neck. "That should help," Naruto murmured, placing his hands together over the mark. The runes crept across her skin until the blemish vanished. Naruto adjusted her clothing as any decent person would. "And now for you too," he said, turning to the assailants. He secured them together with wire and picked up the woman, who curled against him as he leapt to a rooftop and made for the hospital, planning to leave her there where staff would take over, knowing they might refuse if he brought her inside himself. He dropped to the hospital roof, slipped to the entrance, and gently set her down inside before retreating to a vantage point across the street to make sure she was admitted. In moments, attendants carried her in, and Naruto allowed himself a small, relieved breath as he watched. Naruto gave a small nod and started heading back toward the bound captives, trying to decide on a fitting punishment. "Oh, now that's devious," he muttered when an idea struck him. "You twisted brat, that's downright evil," came the amused voice inside his mind. A wicked grin stretched across Naruto's face as he dropped into the alley. He lifted both men with ease and sped toward the T&I headquarters. Pulling out a scrap of paper, he scribbled a short note and slipped it into the wire restraining them. After that, he knocked on the door and vanished in an instant. Moments later, a scarred man in a black trench coat and bandana opened the door. His gaze fell on the captives, and a sharp smirk curved his lips. "So, you two know all of Iwa's secrets, huh? Doubtful, but let's see why someone would bother bringing you here," the man said, grabbing the wire and hauling them inside. The following morning, Anko Mitarashi jolted upright in bed, breathing heavily. It took her a moment to realize she was in the hospital. Her hand instinctively went to her neck and froze. It's gone," she whispered, eyes widening as her fingers traced the bare skin where the curse mark once was. Rushing to a mirror, she confirmed what she already felt. Then the door creaked open. Standing there was a woman with long dark hair and crimson eyes, Kurenai Yuhai, one of Anko's closest friends. Nai-chan, it's gone. It's finally gone," Anko shouted, running to her. What's gone?" asked Kurenai, confused by her friend's rare excitement. "The damned mark, the cursed thing," Anko exclaimed, pulling down her collar to reveal her unblemished skin. Kurenai gasped and gently touched the spot. "Who removed it?" she asked softly. "I don't know. The last thing I remember is nearly being attacked again before someone saved me. Whoever it was, they got that mark off me, and I owe them everything," Anko said quietly, looking down. At the academy. Naruto sat in the back row, half listening as the final few students settled in. The bell rang and Uruka stepped forward. All right, everyone, I'll now announce this year's top rookies, both male and female, he said, smiling at the expectant Genin. For Konoichi of the year, we have Hinata Hyuga. Applause followed, and the shy heiress flushed pink. Good job, Hina-chan, said Kiba from beside her. Thank you, Kiba, she murmured. Okay, settle down, Uruka said, and the room fell silent again. For Shinobi of the year, we have Naruto Uzumaki. The class went quiet for a heartbeat before Kiba started clapping. Soon Hinata, Shikamaru, and a few others joined in. Naruto gave a small bow, smiling awkwardly. Now let's move on to team assignments, Uruka continued. The class erupted in whispers, which Naruto ignored, resting his head on his desk until his name came up. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Uruka announced. Naruto perked up. Kiba and Yuzuka and Hinata Hyuga, your sensei will be Kakashi Hadake. Naruto smirked. A clan heir and heiress and an elite Jonin mentor, not bad. He caught his teammate's eyes and gave a nod. Kiba grinned back, while Hinata blushed and returned the gesture. You'll have lunch before your instructors come to collect you, Uruka finished. Where's this guy already? Kiba grumbled after hours passed, Akamaru barking in irritation. Naruto looked calm but was equally annoyed. Even Hinata's twitching eyelid gave away her temper. Narukuan, come play with me, Tilda, teased a sultry voice in his head. Perverted fox, Naruto muttered. You love me anyway, she teased back just as the door opened. A silver-haired man stepped in, face half covered by a mask and headband tilted over one eye. You three Team 7, he asked. They nodded. My first impression, you're all boring. Meet me on the roof, he said before vanishing in a swirl of leaves. I don't know about you guys, but after waiting 3 hours, I'm starving, Naruto said, standing up. Same here, Kiba agreed immediately. I'm not waiting anymore either, Hinata added, surprisingly firm. The trio left the academy and headed straight to Ikaraku Ramen. Within minutes, they were seated. Oh, Naruto-kun. Long time no see. And who are your friends? Ayim asked warmly. Ayim Nichan, meet my teammates, Hinata Hyuga and Kiba and Yuzuka, Naruto introduced. What'll it be? She asked, jotting on her notepad. The usual, Naruto said. Beef ramen for me, Kiba added. Miso ramen, PP please, Hinata stammered shyly. Ayim giggled and went to prepare their meals. With Kakashi Hash, the Jonin stood waiting on the roof for several minutes. He had a good feeling about this team. They might actually pass his test. Where are they? He mumbled, glancing toward the classroom door. He sighed, shut his book, and made a shadow clone to wait there before heading down himself. The classroom was empty. Strange, he muttered, scratching his head and walking out of the academy. 2 hours later, Ikaraku Ramen Hash, the trio was chatting quietly when Kakashi walked in through the flaps. So here you three are, he said flatly. Why didn't you come to the roof like I said? He asked. Payback, Naruto replied, not even turning around. Fair enough, Kakashi said with a chuckle. Since we're all here, let's introduce ourselves. Names, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams, the basics. LL like this, sensei? Hinata asked softly. Exactly, he replied. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like snow, ice, ramen, samehada, and Arctic animals. I can't stand arrogant people, time wasters, traitors, or rapists. My hobby, training mostly. As for my dream, I just want to help people who need it, Naruto said simply. Good, Kakashi said, nodding before motioning to Kiba. I'm Kiba and Yuzuka, and this is Akamaru, he said proudly. I like dogs, meat, my friends, and my family. I hate cats, loud noises, bad smells, and anyone who insults my clan. My hobbies: training, walking Akamaru, and hanging out with my friends. My dream is to become the best clan head we've ever had. Kakashi nodded again, then looked to Hinata. My name is Hinata Hyuga, she said nervously. I like cinnamon rolls, zenzai, my sister, and my friends. Don't like bullies, seafood, or how the main family treats the Branch family. My hobby is pressing flowers, and my dream is to free the Branch family and unite our clan. Good answer, Kakashi said kindly. Though we'll need to work on that stutter. He then smiled beneath his mask. Now my name's Kakashi Hadake. My likes, I have a few. Dislikes, some of those too. My hobbies, you're too young to hear about them. And my dream. Also not for your age group. Naruto groaned. Figures. Anyway, Kakashi continued, tomorrow, meet me at training ground 7 at 10. Bring your gear, we'll be doing a survival test. Are you even going to show up this time, or should we expect sunset again? Naruto quipped. Kakashi chuckled. All right, 10 it is. What kind of test is it, sensei? Hinata asked. Let's just say it has a 66% failure rate. Fail and you go back to the academy. What? But we already passed, Kiba shouted. Passing the written exam doesn't make you ninja, Kakashi said, a mischievous gleam in his visible eye. That was just to weed out the hopeless ones. Tomorrow is the real deal. With that, he turned and left, leaving the 3 genin stunned at the ramen counter. Naruto gave a small nod and started heading back toward the bound captives, trying to decide on a fitting punishment. Oh, now that's devious, he muttered when an idea struck him. You twisted brat, that's downright evil, came the amused voice inside his mind. A wicked grin stretched across Naruto's face as he dropped into the alley. He lifted both men with ease and sped toward the T&I headquarters. Pulling out a scrap of paper, he scribbled a short note and slipped it into the wire restraining them. After that, he knocked on the door and vanished in an instant. Moments later, a scarred man in a black trench coat and bandana opened the door. His gaze fell on the captives, and a sharp smirk curved his lips. So, you two know all of Iwa's secrets, huh? Doubtful, but let's see why someone would bother bringing you here, the man said, grabbing the wire and hauling them inside. The following morning, Anko Mitarashi jolted upright in bed, breathing heavily. It took her a moment to realize she was in the hospital. Her hand instinctively went to her neck and froze. It's gone, she whispered, eyes widening as her fingers traced the bare skin where the curse mark once was. Rushing to a mirror, she confirmed what she already felt. Then the door creaked open. Standing there was a woman with long dark hair and crimson eyes, Kurenai Yuhai, one of Anko's closest friends. Nai-chan, it's gone, it's finally gone, Anko shouted, running to her. What? What's gone? Asked Kurenai, confused by her friend's rare excitement. The damned mark, the cursed thing, Anko exclaimed, pulling down her collar to reveal her unblemished skin. Kurenai gasped and gently touched the spot. Who removed it? She asked softly. I don't know. The last thing I remember is nearly being attacked again before someone saved me. Whoever it was, they got that mark off me, and I owe them everything, Anko said quietly, looking down. At the academy, Naruto sat in the back row, half listening as the final few students settled in. The bell rang, and Uruka stepped forward. All right, everyone, I'll now announce this year's top rookies, both male and female, he said, smiling at the expectant genin. For Konoha of the year, we have Hinata Hyuga. Applause followed, and the shy heiress flushed pink. Good job, Hina-chan, said Kiba from beside her. Thank you, Kiba, she murmured. Okay, settle down, Uruka said, and the room fell silent again. For Shinobi of the year, we have Naruto Uzumaki. The class went quiet for a heartbeat before Kiba started clapping. Soon Hinata, Shikamaru, and a few others joined in. Naruto gave a small bow, smiling awkwardly. Now let's move on to team assignments, Uruka continued. The class erupted in whispers, which Naruto ignored, resting his head on his desk until his name came up. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Uruka announced. Naruto perked up. Kiba and Yuzuka and Hinata Hyuga, your sensei will be Kakashi Hadake. Naruto smirked. A clan heir and heiress and an elite jonin mentor, not bad. He caught his teammate's eyes and gave a nod. Kiba grinned back, while Hinata blushed and returned the gesture. You'll have lunch before your instructors come to collect you, Uruka finished. Where's this guy already? Kiba grumbled after hours passed, Akamaru barking in irritation. Naruto looked calm but was equally annoyed. Even Hinata's twitching eyelid gave away her temper. Narukuan, come play with me, Tilda, teased a sultry voice in his head. Perverted fox, Naruto muttered. You love me anyway, she teased back just as the door opened. A silver-haired man stepped in, face half covered by a mask and headband tilted over one eye. You 3 Team 7, he asked. They nodded. My first impression, you're all boring. Meet me on the roof, he said before vanishing in a swirl of leaves. I don't know about you guys, but after waiting 3 hours, I'm starving, Naruto said, standing up. Same here, Kiba agreed immediately. I'm not waiting anymore either, Hinata added, surprisingly firm. The trio left the academy and headed straight to Ikaraku Ramen. Within minutes, they were seated. "Oh, Naruto-kun. Long time no see. And who are your friends?" I.M. asked warmly. "I am Nichin, meet my teammates, Hinata, Hyuga, and Kiba and Yuzuka," Naruto introduced. "What'll it be?" she asked, jotting on her notepad. "The usual," Naruto said. "Beef ramen for me," Kiba added. Miso ramen, PP please," Hinata stammered shyly. I.M. giggled and went to prepare their meals. With Kakashi Hash, the Jonin stood waiting on the roof for several minutes. He had a good feeling about this team. They might actually pass his test. "Where are they?" he mumbled, glancing toward the classroom door. He sighed, shut his book, and made a shadow clone to wait there before heading down himself. The classroom was empty. Strange," he muttered, scratching his head and walking out of the academy. 2 hours later, Ikaraku Ramen Hash, the trio was chatting quietly when Kakashi walked in through the flaps. "So here you three are," he said flatly. "Why didn't you come to the roof like I said?" he asked. "Payback," Naruto replied, not even turning around. "Fair enough," Kakashi said with a chuckle. "Since we're all here, let's introduce ourselves. Names, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams, the basics." "LL like this, sensei?" Hinata asked softly. "Exactly," he replied. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like snow, ice, ramen, samehada, and Arctic animals. I can't stand arrogant people, time wasters, traitors, or rapists. My hobby, training mostly. As for my dream, I just want to help people who need it," Naruto said simply. "Good," Kakashi said, nodding before motioning to Kiba. "I'm Kiba and Yuzuka, and this is Akamaru," he said proudly. "I like dogs, meat, my friends, and my family. I hate cats, loud noises, bad smells, and anyone who insults my clan. My hobbies: training, walking Akamaru, and hanging out with my friends. My dream is to become the best clan head we've ever had." Kakashi nodded again, then looked to Hinata. My name is Hinata Hyuga," she said nervously. "I like cinnamon rolls, zenzai, my sister, and my friends. Don't like bullies, seafood, or how the main family treats the Branch family. My hobby is pressing flowers, and my dream is to free the Branch family and unite our clan." "Good answer," Kakashi said kindly. "Though we'll need to work on that stutter." He then smiled beneath his mask. "Now my name's Kakashi Hadake. My likes, I have a few. Dislikes, some of those too. My hobbies, you're too young to hear about them. And my dream. Also not for your age group," Naruto groaned. "Figures. Anyway," Kakashi continued, "tomorrow, meet me at Training Ground 7 at 10. Bring your gear, we'll be doing a survival test." "Are you even going to show up this time, or should we expect sunset again?" Naruto quipped. Kakashi chuckled. All right, 10 it is." "WW, what kind of test is it, sensei?" Hinata asked. "Let's just say it has a 66% failure rate. Fail and you go back to the academy." "What? But we already passed," Kiba shouted. "Passing the written exam doesn't make you ninja," Kakashi said, a mischievous gleam in his visible eye. "That was just to weed out the hopeless ones. Tomorrow is the real deal." With that, he turned and left, leaving the 3 genin stunned at the ramen counter. "Oh, and if I were you, I'd skip breakfast. You'll just end up puking," warned Kakashi casually as he stepped out of the food stand. "Well, I've got to head out," said Naruto, standing up from his seat. "If you want to actually pass the test tomorrow, ignore what Kakashi-sensei said and eat something." With that, he turned and left, his destination already set, the Hawkage Tower. 5 minutes later, Hawkage Tower Naruto pushed open the door to the Hawkage's office without waiting, brushing off the secretary's protests. "Ah, Naruto-kun, I was wondering when you'd show up," greeted Hiruzen, puffing on his pipe as a thin cloud of smoke drifted from his mouth. "I want my mother's Fuinjutsu scrolls," Naruto said firmly, his tone leaving no room for argument. Hiruzen studied him silently for a moment before nodding. There was no reason to refuse such a request. "Very well," the old man said, standing and walking over to the portraits of the previous Hawkage. He removed Minato's picture, revealing a hidden safe behind it. "After your parents' deaths, their possessions were sealed away to keep them safe," Hiruzen explained as he unlocked the compartment. "When you make Chunin, you'll inherit your father's gear and the deed to your family home." He pulled out 2 scrolls, handing one to Naruto. The boy accepted it with a small smile and was about to leave when the door suddenly burst open. "Prepare yourself, old man. Today's the day I claim that hat," shouted a boy as he charged in, only to trip spectacularly on his ridiculously long scarf and faceplint on the floor. He groaned, sitting up and rubbing his nose before spotting Naruto. You tripped me," he accused, pointing at Naruto. "You tripped over your own scarf, idiot," Naruto shot back flatly. "No way, it was you, you jerk," the boy argued, only to find himself hoisted up by his collar. "You tripped over your damn scarf, you little brat," growled Naruto. Before things could escalate further, the door slammed open again. "Put him down this instant. That's the honorable grandson of the third Hokage," barked a man. The boy grinned smugly, thinking he was safe now. "Big deal," Naruto replied dryly, glaring at the Jonin before turning back to the kid. "Blame me again, and I'll freeze your legs solid." He dropped the boy on his rear and walked out without another word. 1 hour later, Naruto sat atop the Hokage monument, perched on his father's stone head. He'd come straight from the tower, but somehow picked up a follower on the way. Sighing, he looked behind him at a cardboard box with 2 eyes peeking out. "Does he really think I can't see him?" Naruto thought irritably. "Just scare the kid off already. It's creepy how he keeps staring," came Akin's voice in his head. Naruto considered it, but every idea he had would either traumatize or injure the boy, so he decided against it. He sighed again, rolled up his scroll, and stood. With nothing better to do, he stepped off the monument and vanished mid-fall in a blur. He reappeared near his and Jiraiya's house, landing softly before leaping onto a branch. Settling there, he unrolled his scroll again. "Didn't expect you back already, Gaki. Thought you'd still be with your team," said Jiraiya, emerging from the house. "We wrapped up after introductions. I got Kachan's stuff from Gigi, then spent hours trying to shake off Gigi's grandson. Kid nearly stalked me," Naruto replied casually. "Ah, well, good for you," Jiraiya muttered awkwardly, retreating inside. He had other important engagements waiting. Next morning, training ground 7, 10 Naruto arrived at the training field, irritation already simmering. His follower was still trailing behind in the same cardboard box. "All right, kid, enough. Cut it out," Naruto said without turning around. "Wow, you must have crazy sharp senses to see through my disguise," the boy said, standing proudly out of the box. "Teach me." "No. I'm not your sensei, mentor, or friend." "Get lost," Naruto said coldly, his glare sharp enough to make most people freeze. The kid flinched but stood firm. "This must be a test to prove I'm worthy of his guidance," the boy thought confidently. Naruto rolled his eyes and walked off, the boy still tailing him. When he reached the clearing, he saw Hinata and Kiba already waiting. "Morning, you two," he greeted. Morning, Naruto-kun," Hinata stammered shyly. "Yo, Naruto, who's the brat?" asked Kiba. "I'm Konoha, and Naruto's gonna be my teacher," the boy announced with a grin. "I am not, Gyo home brat," Naruto shouted, his silver eyes flashing. That was all it took for Konoha to run for his life. After scaring off the kid, Naruto hopped onto a branch above Hinata and Kiba, unslinging Samehada before sitting down to wait. He doubted Kakashi would show up on time, so they waited. 30 minutes later, half an hour passed before Kakashi finally appeared in a swirl of leaves. "You're late," Naruto growled, Samehada's scales shifting restlessly. "I got lost on the road of life," Kakashi replied lazily. Naruto's hand began to radiate with a faint, icy mist. "Well, since you're all eager, let me explain the test," said Kakashi, holding up 2 bells. "Your goal is to take these from me before 1 o'clock. You can use any method you want. Those without a bell skip lunch." He waited for the usual complaints of empty stomachs, but none came. "Never puked from training before, and I've trained with maniacs," Naruto muttered, still glaring. "Also, anyone without a bell by the end goes back to the academy," added Kakashi, hoping to rattle them. Kiba and Hinata looked worried, but Naruto just sighed. "But, sensei, there's only 2 bells," Hinata said softly. "Exactly," Kakashi replied with a smirk. "Only 2 of you can pass." "Then let's start," he declared, and Kiba and Hinata immediately darted into the forest. Naruto, you can begin," Kakashi prompted. "Oh, I heard you," Naruto said coolly. "But since you've already wasted my time, I'm annoyed." He sliced his thumb on his fang and began forming hand seals. "Kuchios no Jutsu," he shouted, slamming his palm down. Smoke exploded around him, revealing a sleek white fox. Naruto-sama, the fox greeted, meeting his gaze. Raiko, Naruto said, nodding slightly. What do you need of me, Naruto-sama? Asked the fox. Naruto pointed at Kakashi, who watched with mild amusement. I want that smug grin gone. It's been a while since we hunted together, Raiko said, baring his fangs. Hayaten, Kori Sarasa no Jutsu, Naruto called. The moisture in the air froze into shimmering discs that shot toward Kakashi. The Jonin dodged gracefully, but Raiko was already on him, a blur of fur and teeth. Kakashi barely blocked with a kunai. Meanwhile, Naruto formed another set of seals. Kori Bunshin no Jutsu, he murmured, creating an ice clone that darted into the trees. Are you sure this is smart, Naru-kun? Akin asked inside his mind. Not entirely, Naruto replied, but it'll work. He gripped Samehada with one hand, the other still wreathed in frost and charged. He leapt over Raiko, bringing the blade down. Kakashi kicked the fox aside and blocked just in time, but Naruto's icy claw followed, only to hit a log that instantly froze solid. Behind you, warned Akin, prompting Naruto to roll away as Kakashi crouched behind him, hands in a tiger seal. You dodged my Senin Goroshi this time, Kakashi said dramatically. Naruto groaned and swung Samehada down, forcing the Jonin to leap away. Below! Akin warned again, and Naruto jumped just as Kakashi's hands burst from the ground where he'd been standing. Forget this, Naruto muttered, dashing into the trees and weaving signs. Kirigakure no Jutsu! Mist rolled through the clearing, concealing him completely. He's more skilled than he lets on, thought Kakashi, pulling out his orange book with a chuckle. Oh, Suki, you naughty girl, he snickered as he read. In the forest, Naruto's ice clone had slipped into the forest and soon spotted Kiba and Hinata, who were both watching the ongoing fight with amazement. After locating them, the clone led the pair to another clearing to discuss their strategy. So, what's going on, Naruto? Asked Kiba as the real Naruto stepped into view. I've got a question for you too, began Naruto, stopping in front of them. Have either of you ever heard of a Konoha team that only had 3 people? No, stammered Hinata, while Kiba simply shook his head. All right then, have you ever heard of someone fresh out of the academy managing to beat a Jonin in battle? Naruto continued. Both shook their heads again. Exactly. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Why would the academy form us into 3-person squads only to eliminate one right after the first day? Naruto questioned seriously. The T-test isn't really about the bells, Hinata asked softly. That's what I think, replied Naruto, nodding. I'm betting this exam is about teamwork. The bells are just there to throw us off. So you're saying the goal isn't the bells, it's proving we can cooperate? Kiba asked, receiving a confirming nod from Naruto. I agree, said Hinata, her voice firmer this time. Kiba nodded too, while Akamaru barked from his spot in Kiba's jacket. All right then, what's the plan, Naruto? Asked Kiba, glancing at the blonde's confident smirk. Whatever Naruto was thinking, it was going to be good. Back with Kakashi 1 hour later. Where could they be? They haven't made a move since Naruto ran off, unless, thought Kakashi, but his train of thought was cut short when Raiko darted out from the tree line, snapping at his leg again. With a sigh, Kakashi drew a kunai to block the fox's fangs. Gatsuga, fang passing fang, shouted a voice from within the mist that still lingered since Naruto's last move. 2 spinning figures suddenly burst from the haze, joining Raiko's assault. Kakashi swiftly closed his book, pulling out another kunai to deflect the twin twisters and the lunging fox. But before he could react again, a volley of arrows shot toward him. He deflected them instinctively, only to leap back as the spinning attacks closed in from both sides. A sharp sting hit his left arm. Hinata stood there, chakra glowing around her fingertips. Kakashi swapped places with a nearby log just before Kiba and Akamaru's twisters redirected toward him again. Raiko charged once more, baring his teeth, forcing Kakashi to block with both kunai. Ice-dipped arrows flew toward him next, making him dodge, only for the whirling Kiba-do to return, followed by Naruto's Samehada swinging down hard. Kakashi crossed his kunai, blocking the strike, but Naruto vanished back into the mist right after. Before Kakashi could pursue, Hinata slid low, striking his legs with her Juken, gentle fist. Raiko lunged again, fur and teeth blurring. Kakashi parried but had to leap back to avoid another blow. Hayaten, Huryu no Jutsu Ice Style, Ice Dragon Jutsu, yelled Naruto. The moisture in the air froze, forming a massive dragon of ice that lunged toward Kakashi. He jumped aside, barely dodging, when Kiba and Akamaru's twin tornadoes came from both flanks, Raiko and Naruto closing in head-on. Glancing back, Kakashi caught sight of Hinata charging, palm glowing. He substituted again, but smoke bombs detonated around him. His students surrounded him from every direction. Kakashi vaulted upward, spinning into a mid-air split kick to knock back the twisters, then raised his blades to block Naruto's heavy downward strike with same hata. Raiko's fangs met his other kunai. Landing hard, Kakashi kicked backward, catching Hinata in the chest, then swung forward, striking Naruto and sending him flipping away. He was about to pursue when another icy arrow zipped toward him. He deflected it, but too late noticed the explosive tag tied to the shaft. The blast hurled him back into a tree. Before he could recover, Naruto darted in and snatched the bells from his belt, retreating to his teammate's side. "Well done, all three of you. But tell me, Naruto, who gets the second bell?" asked Kakashi, steadying himself against the tree trunk. "They both do," Naruto replied, tossing a bell to Kiba and Hinata each. But both immediately dropped them. "Not happening. Without you, we wouldn't have stood a chance," Kiba said firmly. "Yes, either W, we all P-pass or N none of USD do," added Hinata, her stutter returning slightly. "That your final decision?" Kakashi asked. All three nodded in unison. "Then congratulations, you pass," Kakashi said, smiling beneath his mask. "Told you it was about teamwork," Naruto grinned. Kiba and Hinata sighed in relief, rolling their eyes at his smugness. "Good job, Team 7, declared Kakashi proudly. A month later, Team 7 had officially formed and spent their time drowning in D-rank missions. Between weeding gardens and chasing animals, they had completed nearly 50 such tasks, most of which involved capturing the dreaded cat, Tora. The feline had a personal vendetta against Naruto, Kiba, and Akamaru, scratching them mercilessly each time. That's why Hinata was the one holding it now, standing in the Hokage's office. "Tora-chan," squealed Madame Shijimi, grabbing her cat from Hinata and hugging it far too tightly. "Serves you right, you little demon," thought Naruto, Kiba, and Akamaru in silent unison as Tora screeched under the pressure. "Well done, Team 7. Now there are more D-ranks available. A council member's garden needs weeding, a noble's son requires supervision." Hiruzen started, but was cut off by a furious, "No, no," the Hokage asked, raising a brow. "No more chores, we're shinobi, not errand boys," Naruto declared. Kiba and Hinata nodded in agreement. "Well, Kakashi, do you think they're ready for something higher?" asked Hiruzen. "Hokage-sama, surely you can't be serious." "They've barely been genin for a month," protested Uruka, only to freeze as the temperature seemed to drop. "Uruka, be quiet," growled Naruto. "I've been personally trained for over 3 years by S-rank shinobi, and these two were raised by A-rank clansmen. We've spent a month training under an elite jonin we nearly beat on our first spar. You have no idea how far we've come, so stay out of it." "He's right," said Kakashi calmly. "They're no longer academy students, they're shinobi. And to answer your question, Hokage-sama, yes, they've been ready for weeks." "Very well," Hiruzen said, pulling a scroll and tossing it to Kakashi. "I have a C-rank for your team." Kakashi read the mission details quickly. "Pack for a week, we're heading to Taki. Meet at the North Gate in 30 minutes, he ordered. The 3 genin nodded and left. "Take this as well," Hiruzen said, handing Kakashi another scroll. Kakashi pocketed it and vanished in a swirl of leaves. "Are you certain about this, Hokage-sama?" asked Uruka quietly. "Completely," replied Hiruzen. Half an hour later, at the North Gate, Naruto arrived to find Kiba and Hinata already waiting, backpacks ready. "Where's your gear, Naruto? You can't tell me you're going without even spare clothes," Kiba said, raising a brow. Naruto tugged down his collar slightly, revealing a tattoo on his chest, an arrow crossed over a scroll. "Most of my tattoos aren't for looks," Naruto explained. "This one's a seal, it stores everything I need." "What kind of seals do you have?" asked Hinata, her stutter nearly gone after weeks of teamwork. "Mainly storage ones," he said. "This arm's got my summoning seal." He pointed to his right arm, where a white-furred kitsune design extended down to an open mouth on his wrist. I've also got gravity and weight seals, though most are hidden under my other tattoos. In truth, Naruto had far more seals inked into his skin, but he wasn't ready to reveal them yet. Thankfully, Kakashi appeared just then. All right, team, we're bound for Taki. At your fastest pace, it'd take a day and a half, but no rush, we'll take it easy and get there in 2, said Kakashi. The trio nodded. Delta formation, Kakashi ordered. Naruto moved to the front, Kiba and Hinata flanking Kakashi in a triangle. Together, Team 7 set off toward their first true mission. Hours later, as the sun dipped, all right, we'll stop here for the night, Kakashi announced, landing on a branch after a short stretch of tree hopping. The 3 younger shinobi gave silent agreements. You lot set up the tents, I'll gather firewood, Kakashi added. I don't need a tent, Kakashi-sensei. I sleep under the sky, Naruto replied. But I do need to hunt. If you can bring back enough for everyone. Kakashi offered a half-smile over his eye. I'll try, but I can't promise. No clue what's out here, Naruto said, then slipped into the trees. He lifted his bow, formed an ice arrow, nocked it, and threaded his chakra quietly, moving far enough into the forest that a small pulse of Biju chakra would pass unnoticed by Kakashi, Hinata, and Kiba. Akin, Naruto sent the call mentally. On it, came the soft reply. Even the faintest extension of Akin's Yaokai senses mapped everything within a kilometer. You've got a lot of small birds and critters nearby, 3 boars 200 meters west, a doe half a click north, and 2 bucks fighting about 270 meters to the northeast, Akin reported. Naruto weighed the options a heartbeat, then angled toward the bucks, conjuring a second ice arrow to join the first. He moved through the canopy, light and silent, toward where Akin had pointed. Soon he crested the rim of a clearing and peered down at the 2 rutting bucks. He formed 2 more ice arrows, notched them with care, drew the bow, and aimed to strike each animal. Taking a measured breath to steady himself, Naruto released. The arrows flew true and the bucks collapsed almost instantly, blood pooling as life drained away. Naruto dropped down, summoned chakra into his left hand, and in a wisp of smoke, a hunting knife appeared. He knelt and began field-dressing the kills out of sight, choosing to work away from Kiba and Hinata's view. About an hour later, Naruto returned to camp carrying his haul to find Kakashi, Hinata, and Kiba around a crackling fire. You didn't find anything? Kakashi asked first. I did, but I thought it best to butcher and skin them away from the others, Naruto said, nodding toward his teammates. Makes sense. So what did you actually get? Kakashi pressed. A pair of bucks and a pair of boars. Naruto revealed half the harvested meat and hides, the pelts folded over the bundles of flesh. Take what you want. I'll share this, but the other half's mine. Naruto's companions acknowledged the claim. He'd done the hunting and cleaning, and 1 buck and 1 boar's meat more than fed the 4 of them. They set the new meat over the flames to roast. After they ate their fill, the meal winding down into a satisfied quiet, Kakashi spoke up. We need to arrange watches. I'll take watch, Naruto volunteered, stretching and leaning back with his arms overhead. Kakashi was going to put you on the first shift, Kakashi began, but Naruto cut him off. I'll do the whole night, Naruto said. Kakashi arched an eyebrow. You sure? I've been awake nearly a month straight before. 2 nights is nothing. Naruto's shrug was casual. Kakashi accepted it. If you're okay, fine. Naruto nodded, slid Samehada free from his back, and leapt into the nearby trees to keep watch. The next morning when dawn broke, Kakashi, Hinata, and Kiba were packing away the tent. Naruto, still alert from his long vigil, prepared breakfast, a fish apiece caught from a nearby stream. They ate, then resumed their journey toward the village of Taki. Several hours later, after hours of travel, the team reached Taki's perimeter. As they approached, 2 people stepped forward to meet them. A man with long brown hair and dark eyes, and a younger girl, shyly hiding behind him. Her hair was mint green and her eyes were a striking orange. That girl has Chomai sealed inside her, Akin whispered into Naruto's head from within his senses. Are you sure? Naruto replied, surprised. Absolutely, Akin confirmed. Kakashi introduced himself. I'm Kakashi, you must be Shibuki. The man inclined his head. Kakashi pulled a scroll from his pocket and handed it over. Shibuki opened it and read. Naruto took advantage of the pause to step closer to the girl. "Hi, Imoto-chan. Mind if I call you that, Nana-chan?" He smiled gently. The girl froze for a heartbeat, then eased when she saw Naruto's honest grin. Not at all, Kayunie-san," she stammered, stepping out from behind Shibuki. The older man watched them with wide eyes. Kakashi's gaze also lingered as the girl moved into Naruto's waiting arms and sobbed. Naruto soothed her, running his hands down her back to calm her trembling. "I knew transferring her was the right move," Shibuki murmured, more to himself than anyone else. Naruto and the girl both heard him. "You transferred me to Konoha?" she asked, equal parts frightened and hopeful. "Yes," Shibuki replied, beaming at his surrogate sister, "and the Hokage has accepted the transfer." Fu, the girl, hugged him tightly. Thank you," she repeated. "Promise me one thing, Fu-chan," Shibuki said softly. "Live happily," he told her, and Fu nodded emphatically. Their moment was cut short by a tacky messenger sprinting up. "Shibuki-sama. The village, it's under attack." "What?" Shibuki snapped, eyes hardening as the messenger explained. "It's Suyin, he brought 3 missing nin from AIM. He's threatening to slaughter villagers unless you hand over the hero water." Shibuki's jaw clenched. "Damn it," he grimaced, glancing at the streets. "Let me help," Fu begged. "No, you can't fight, Fu. The villagers might turn on you as readily as the enemy," Shibuki said. "We can't leave allies to die," Naruto said, stepping forward. Kiba and Hinata echoed his resolve with nods. "Kakashi?" Shibuki asked. "It's up to you," Kakashi replied. Shibuki gave the Konoha squad permission to assist, on the condition they also protect Fu. Naruto hefted Samehada, and the 6 of them headed into the village. Inside the town, the hostility toward Fu was painfully clear. Even amid an attack, people glared as she passed. Naruto set a steadying hand on her shoulder. "It's okay, Imoto. By tomorrow we'll be far from here and this will feel like a bad dream," he promised. "Thanks, Nick-san," she said, managing a small smile, then flinched as a rock whistled toward her. "Get out of here, you demon," someone spat. Kakashi knocked another rock aside with a quick motion. "This isn't safe, Fu. I'll make a cage bunshin and escort you out until we're clear, all right?" Kakashi suggested. Fu hesitated, then gave a small nod. "Cage bunshin no jutsu," Kakashi intoned, creating a second Kakashi to shadow the group. "Kori bunshin no jutsu," Naruto replied, forming an ice clone of himself that fell in alongside Kakashi's copy and shadowed Fu. "She looked frightened, figured that help," Naruto said when Kakashi glanced his way. Kakashi simply nodded. Shibuki peeled away from their path, saying he had something to do, and the Konoha team pressed on toward the commotion at the village center. "Shibuki, you've—" a man with spiky brown hair shouted as they drew near, standing in front of captives. "Bring me the hero water or I'll start killing villagers." He'd 3 allies from AIM, a brown-haired woman in a provocative outfit, a silver-haired man with a blue stripe across his nose, and a bandana-masked man with brown hair. Naruto set Samehada down, gripped his bow, and froze droplets of water in the air into 4 ice arrows. He notched them, drew, and took careful aim at the 4 aggressors. The village seemed to hold its breath as the arrows sped toward their marks, until, in a flurry, the shots were deflected or shattered mid-flight. "Oh ho ho, what's this?" the spiky-haired man mocked, looking upward toward Naruto and the Konoha nin who had ducked as the arrows broke apart. "You 3 go check it out," commanded the spiky-haired man to his squad. They nodded silently and leapt toward the rooftops. "Split up," Kakashi ordered his team, his tone calm yet firm. "Regroup here in 20 minutes. Don't fight unless there's no other choice." His students nodded in unison, before vanishing in different directions, Kakashi following shortly after. Moments later, the 3 rogue AIM nin landed on a nearby roof and caught sight of their targets, immediately giving chase. With Hinata darted through the narrow streets of Taki, her mind racing for a way to lose whoever was trailing her. As she turned sharply around a corner, she nearly collided with her pursuer, a man from the AIM trio. He had messy brown hair mostly hidden under a headband and a mask covering the lower half of his face, much like Kakashi's. "Well, what do we have here? A Hyuga, an unbranded one, no less," the man sneered, his eyes glinting. "I wonder what Kuma would pay for you." Hinata stiffened, fear crawling up her spine. Why you'll have to catch me first, she stammered, slipping into the traditional Hyuga fighting stance, her eyes sharp despite her trembling hands. With Kiba and Akamaru bounded from roof to roof, doing their best to stay ahead of their pursuers. The sharp scent in the air told Kiba one of them was closing in. He grimaced. The guy was fast, and Kiba knew brains weren't his strong suit. With a resigned grunt, he dropped into an alleyway, hoping his plan would either work or fail spectacularly so he could punch the guy. He crouched behind a dumpster, holding his breath. A dull thud sounded behind him. "Come out, kid. I know you're there," came a gravelly voice. Kiba peeked around the corner and saw the man staring right at him. He groaned quietly, masking the sound of unwrapping 2 soldier pills, one for himself, one for Akamaru. He stood tall from behind the dumpster, cracking his knuckles. "I've got you now," the man taunted, a smirk spreading across his face. With Kakashi was well aware of the tale behind him. He kept leading his pursuer in circles, not particularly eager to fight. Still, he couldn't deny a touch of irritation. The woman chasing him was fast, faster than most. Maybe retirement from ANBU had dulled his edge more than he liked to admit. Back with Naruto crouched on a rooftop, not far from their original spot, far enough to avoid being seen. His eyes widened in horror as he saw Shibuki impaled by a blade, seemingly made of water. The bottle from Shibuki's shirt rolled across the ground, but Naruto barely noticed. He vaulted off the roof, using chakra to soften his landing before yanking Samehada from his back. He charged at the spiky-haired attacker, who was now gulping down the contents of the fallen bottle. As Naruto neared, the man flared with chakra, blasting him backward. Samehada slipped from Naruto's grasp as he flew through the air. "I feel incredible," the man said with a dark grin. Naruto pushed himself up, growling, "So you've got more chakra, great. That just means more for Samehada to feast on." He charged again, scooping up his blade mid-run. A cold mist began to swirl around his left hand. He spun as he closed the distance, driving Samehada deep into the man's gut. The sword tore into flesh while greedily draining chakra. As Naruto twisted away, his icy hand smashed into the enemy's side, freezing everything it touched, only for the man to dissolve into water. "Water clone, damn it," Naruto hissed, scanning for the real one. "Naru-kun, behind you," Akin's voice rang in his head. Naruto spun, blocking a watery blade with Samehada, which instantly devoured the weapon's chakra. His attacker stumbled forward. Naruto punched him across the face, sending him skidding 20 meters away. "You little brat," the man snarled. "Hayaten, Shimo Buresu," Naruto exhaled a cloud of icy mist, forcing the man to leap aside. "Kirigakure no Jutsu," he followed up, shrouding the area in thick fog. "Well, aren't you full of surprises?" the man muttered, spinning his head, searching for the blonde. Suddenly, 3 ice arrows whistled through the mist. The man spun, slicing them apart with a kunai. "Suten, Suikoden no Jutsu," Naruto's voice echoed as a massive water shark lunged from the fog. The spiky-haired man dodged barely. "Suten. Suiden no Jutsu," Naruto spat a high-pressure stream of water that slammed into the man's gut, sending him tumbling. He recovered, shaking it off. Naruto gritted his teeth. "Fine then, Hayaten. Hyoga Ryu no Jutsu." A massive dragon of ice burst from his hands, roaring as it soared forward. The enemy jumped over it, only to take Samehada to the chest. As he fell, Naruto's icy claw slashed his knee, freezing it solid. "Damn it!" the man screamed as he hit the ground. "Yeah, damn you," Naruto growled, spinning around and driving Samehada into the frozen limb, slicing it clean off while draining chakra. Before the man could react, Naruto slashed across his throat, blood spraying as he collapsed. Naruto flicked the blade clean and sheathed it. He hurried to Shibuki's side, pressing fingers to his neck. Shock crossed his face, there was still a pulse. "Samehada, drain me, just enough for control," Naruto commanded. The sword hummed, siphoning most of his chakra until only a fraction remained. Sweat dripped down Naruto's face as he performed a brief set of hand seals, his palms glowing green before pressing them to Shibuki's chest. Kakashi, Hinata, and Kiba arrived just in time to witness the aftermath, the dead enemy, the injured Shibuki, and Naruto kneeling beside him. Kakashi's single visible eye widened. "Since when do you know medical ninjutsu?" he asked. Naruto gave a faint nod, focusing entirely on healing. As Shibuki gasped back to life, Naruto collapsed from chakra exhaustion. A green blur darted forward, catching him before he hit the ground. "You did great, Nick-san." "Thank you," Fu whispered, holding him close. "Your help won't be forgotten," Shibuki said later, standing at the village gate as the Konoha team and Fu prepared to leave. "Of course, Shibuki-sama," replied Kakashi. "We couldn't ignore an ally in trouble." Shibuki nodded, glancing at Fu. "Remember your promise." "I will," Fu said earnestly. "And you, Naruto, take care of her or I'll come for you myself," Shibuki warned. Naruto snorted. "I'd rather stab myself with a rusty blade." "Good," Shibuki replied. Kakashi sighed. "All right, that's enough. We should move out." Fu smiled at Shibuki one last time before catching up with Naruto, who waited just ahead. Team 7 followed. Several hours later, they traveled for hours. Fu and Naruto talked quietly while the rest kept a watchful silence, until Kiba finally broke it. "So, Naruto, since when do you have a sister? And why was she in another village?" "We're not related by blood," Fu said quickly. "Then how are you siblings?" Kiba pressed. Naruto's eyes hardened. "We share a burden, one that connects others like us across the world. That's all you need to know." Before Kiba could ask again, a messenger hawk landed on Kakashi's arm. He unrolled the scroll, scanning the contents before his expression grew serious. "Hawkage-sama's assigned us a new mission," he said. "Asuma's team needs backup near the Land of Waves. From here on out, you'll follow my orders exactly." "Understood." Everyone nodded, though the genin looked uneasy, except Naruto, who reached out to squeeze Fu's hand. "I won't let anything happen to you," he promised. Fu smiled softly. "Thanks, Nig-san." And with that, the 5 of them changed course, racing toward the Land of Waves. The following day, midday Team 7, along with Fu, had been sprinting for hours at full pace, racing toward the location where Team 10 needed their support. The group finally broke through the tree line, emerging onto a coastal clearing where 4 shinobi, 2 civilians, and a single boat awaited them. "Kakashi!" one of the ninja called out. "Asuma, Hokage-sama sent us as reinforcements," Kakashi replied as he and his team approached Asuma's group. "J like any of you could actually help," scoffed Sasuke with a smirk. "What's your problem?" snapped Fu, glaring daggers at him. "Ignore him, Imoto. He's just an arrogant jerk with a stick shoved sideways," said Naruto, resting a calming hand on Fu's shoulder. The others couldn't help but snicker at his jab. "Entertaining as this is, my boat can't hold everyone. 4 of you plus Tazuna and me at best," said the rower before Sasuke could fire back. "That's fine. My team will follow from behind," Kakashi said, turning toward his squad. "You all remember the water walking exercise, right?" he asked. Kiba, Hinata, and Naruto nodded, while Fu looked puzzled. "Don't worry, Fu. I'll carry you across and teach you later," Naruto assured her, hand still resting on her shoulder. "In that case, let's move," said Tazuna, receiving nods from everyone except Sasuke, who just brooded silently. Naruto crouched down, and Fu climbed onto his back as the others boarded the boat. Once it pushed off into open water, Kakashi's team followed behind, running atop the waves. "You ninja never cease to amaze me," Tazuna muttered, glancing back at the sight. Though some sat in the boat and others treaded across water, all remained alert for danger. After half an hour, the mist thinned to reveal a massive bridge ahead. "Whoa," Fu breathed, eyes wide. The rest were equally astonished, except for Kakashi, Asuma, and Naruto, who stayed focused. 10 minutes later, the boatman shut off the motor and began to row quietly. "Why stop the engine?" Choji asked between bites of chips. "This is as close as we can get. Gato's men are always watching for movement. Keep it down," whispered the rower. Naruto clenched his fists and stepped forward with renewed determination. Within minutes, they reached the shore of the Land of Waves. He set Fu down as the others disembarked. "This is as far as I go. I hope you finish that bridge, Tazuna. It's all I can do," the rower said. "You've already done enough, my friend," Tazuna replied, leading the group into the forest while the boatman disappeared back into the mist. The 9 ninja followed, each scanning for signs of danger. Hinata's Byakugan active, Kiba sniffing the air, and Naruto using chakra-enhanced senses alongside Samehada. When he suddenly heard a faint twig snap, Naruto froze, quickly forming a kunai of ice and hurling it toward the sound. He parted the bushes to find a trembling white rabbit, the kunai buried inches from it. Don't scare me like that, kid, Tazuna muttered with a shaky laugh. Everyone stay sharp, we've got company, Naruto warned, ignoring him and unslinging Samehada. His free hand shimmered with icy mist. Before anyone could question him, DOWN, Kakashi shouted. Everyone but Naruto dropped, just as a massive sword sliced through the air where their necks had been moments before. Naruto leapt back as the blade embedded itself in a nearby tree. Zabuza Mamachi, the demon of the hidden mist. A-rank missing nin, wanted for attempting to assassinate the Mizukage, Naruto said coldly, glaring up at the man standing on his blade's hilt. Heh, the brat knows my name. I'm flattered, Zabuza sneered, scanning the group. His eyes hardened when they fell on Kakashi and Asuma. Well, Sharingan Kakashi and Black Smoke Asuma, both with hefty bounties. His attention shifted back to Naruto. Where'd you get that sword, kid? He demanded. From my sensei's cold hands, right before I buried him, Naruto snarled, anger flashing in his eyes. Don't dwell on it, Naruto. He died proud of you, Akin's voice echoed in his mind, a mix of scolding and comfort. I know, Akin, it just hurts. He was like a father to me. So Kasama's dead, huh? Serves the fish freak right. Zabuza laughed mockingly. Naruto's aura flared. Hayaten, Hyoga Ryu no Jutsu, he roared, forming a massive 50-foot dragon of ice that lunged at Zabuza. The swordsman barely dodged. Don't insult my Tusan, Naruto shouted, crimson chakra bubbling around him, taking a fox-like shape. The Jonin were shocked. The genin, except Fu, looked terrified. Kirigakure no Jutsu, Zabuza called, shrouding the area in thick mist. You think my Tusen didn't teach me this? Naruto growled before vanishing into the fog as well. A second later, the sound of steel meeting flesh rang out. Zabuza stumbled back, clutching a bleeding side. Lucky hit, brat, he spat. If that's luck, what's this? Naruto snapped, flashing through hand signs. Hayaten, Korisurasa no Jutsu. Blades of ice spun through the air toward Zabuza, who blocked them with his sword. Naruto darted in, grabbed the weapon, and froze part of the blade before being kicked backward. He landed smoothly, charging again. Their blades collided, ice cracks spreading through Kubikirabacho. Zabuza cursed and cut his palm, blood seeping into the weapon to repair it. He lunged, swinging down at Naruto. Naruto blocked but was kicked hard in the head, sent crashing into trees. Hayaten. Huryu no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, sending another ice dragon flying at Zabuza. The mist nin dodged, but had to block immediately as Naruto slid down the dragon's back, attacking midair. They faced off again, eyes burning with fury. Both charged, weapons clashing violently. Naruto locked blades and thrust his clawed hand into Zabuza's gut, frost creeping across the wound. Narukun, someone else is nearby, Akin warned. Where? He asked quickly. 10 o'clock up in the trees. Naruto turned his gaze there, only to block another heavy swing from Zabuza. Hayaten. Shimo Buresu, he shouted, releasing freezing mist. Zabuza dodged and countered, smashing down on Naruto, who vanished, leaving a log behind. Where'd you go, brat? Zabuza growled, scanning the fog. He barely ducked as Naruto dropped from above. Zabuza retaliated with a kick to Naruto's gut, sending him flipping backward. Naruto landed on his feet, charging again. Suten. Suryuden no Jutsu? Zabuza roared, summoning a massive water dragon. Naruto swung Samehada, absorbing the chakra, turning the dragon into a harmless splash. He dashed forward, icy mist forming around his hand. Zabuza swung down, Naruto blocked, then slipped inside the man's guard and slammed his palm into his gut. Frost exploded outward, freezing the area before Naruto kicked him back into a tree. The only thing keeping Zabuza conscious was his chakra reinforcing his spine. Who are you? Asked a weary and dazed Zabuza, barely holding onto consciousness. Naruto Uzumaki Yuki, the second monster of the mist. And your life ends here, declared Naruto coldly, moving to strike again, until a sudden flurry of senbon whistled from the treeline where Akin had sensed chakra earlier. Appreciate the assist. You've worn him down nicely. This one was quite the challenge to catch, came a calm voice from behind Naruto. Turning, Naruto saw someone around his own age, a figure in a Kiri Anbu mask and the standard pinstriped uniform that cut off at the knees. Over it hung a green haori with white trim, a brown sash looped twice around the waist with fringed ends trailing behind. Light brown sandals completed the outfit, and the person's nails gleamed with teal polish. Their long hair was tied up with a white holder, 2 strands framing the face, each tipped with metal cuffs. If not for their scent, Naruto wouldn't have known the newcomer was female. Naruto crouched and checked Zabuza's pulse, nothing. Standing again, he faced the newcomer. "All yours, Hunter Ninsan," said Naruto, stepping aside. The masked ninja flickered forward, hoisting Zabuza's body before both vanished in a swirl of water. Naruto turned, took a single step, and collapsed to one knee. "Naruto!" shouted Kiba, Hinata, and Fu as they rushed to his side. "I'm fine, just chakra drain," muttered Naruto, trying to rise but nearly falling again until Kiba caught him and slung his arm over his shoulder. "Thanks, Kiba," said Naruto quietly. "No problem, buddy," Kiba grinned. "How far's your place, Tazuna?" asked Asuma. "Not far, just past town," the bridge builder replied. "Then let's move," said Kakashi, and everyone nodded. They began walking toward Tazuna's home, Sasuke glaring silently at Naruto the entire way. 10 minutes later, the group stopped before a worn-down house. Tazuna unlocked the door and called out, "Tsunami, Inari, I'm home." "Tusan, thank Kami you're safe," cried a woman rushing from another room, hugging him tightly. She then noticed the shinobi behind him. "Oh, I'm Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter," she introduced herself with a bow. "Is there a place we can rest?" asked Kakashi. "Yes, but I doubt everyone will fit comfortably," Tsunami admitted. "That's all right. My team and I can stay outside, I prefer open air anyway," said Naruto to Kakashi and Asuma's surprise. "You sure? My team can camp out instead," offered Asuma. "I'm good. I like the outdoors better," Naruto replied. "We'll camp too," added Kiba, with Hinata nodding beside him. "All right, that's settled," said Kakashi, glancing at Asuma. "We'll need to go over the mission details, come with me." "Got it. You 3 stay here," Asuma told his team as he followed Kakashi, Naruto, Kiba, Hinata, and Fu into the woods. They soon found a clearing. Kiba eased Naruto against a tree while Kakashi turned to him. "Naruto," he began, drawing the boy's attention. Naruto nodded faintly. "I've avoided asking about your past up till now, but you want to know about me and Kasame," Naruto interrupted, earning a nod from Kakashi. "And Asuma's here to listen too," he asked. Another nod. "Fine, but wait until Kiba, Hinata, and Fu finish setting up. They've earned that trust, and Fu deserves to hear this too," said Naruto. Both Jonin agreed. 5 minutes later, tents were up. Asuma watched Naruto sitting on the ground without one, confusion in his eyes. "All right, you 3, come here," Kakashi called. "Naruto's ready to talk about his connection with Kasame." "You might want to sit down. It's not a short tale," said Naruto, lowering his gaze. "It began 4 years ago." Flashback an 8-year-old Naruto trekked through the forest, a katana across his back and a bow with arrows slung beside it. Alone for a week now, he was heading toward Uzushiagakure. Entering a clearing, he spotted a man doubled over coughing, blue-skinned, with shark-like eyes and gills beneath them, and a massive sword strapped to his back. "Hey, you all right?" Naruto asked, stepping closer. "Yeah, kid, fine as daisies," the man said dryly, wiping blood from his chin. "Okay then," Naruto replied, turning to leave. "Oi, kid, where are your parents?" the man asked casually. "Don't have any," Naruto said over his shoulder. "Then what's a brat like you doing out here with weapons?" "Training to be a ninja," Naruto answered firmly. "A ninja, huh?" "Yeah, why?" Naruto narrowed his eyes. The man smirked. "Because I'm looking for a student." "Interested?" "That depends. What would you teach me?" The man reached into his coat, pulled out a bingo book, and tossed it to him. "Page 5. Naruto flipped to the page and froze. There was the man's face, labeled S-rank. His eyes widened as he dropped the book. "I'd be teaching you everything I know," said Kasame. "Hell yeah, I'm in," said Naruto eagerly. "Good, but first 2 tests," said Kasame, setting his massive, wrapped sword on the ground. "This is Samehada. She needs to accept you first." Naruto reached for the hilt, only for the sword to writhe, wrapping around his arm and feeding on his chakra before its bandages tore open to reveal a gaping mouth that began licking his face. Naruto laughed uncontrollably as the weapon made delighted noises. "Oh, okay, stop, stop," he giggled, breathless. Kasame stared in shock. "I've never seen her react like that, not even with me. Who is this kid?" he thought. Lifting the sword from Naruto, Kasame asked, "All right, kid, you passed the first test. What's your name? Samehada doesn't choose just anyone." Catching his breath, Naruto smiled. "Naruto Uzumaki." "Then, Naruto Uzumaki, let's begin the second test," Kasame said, taking his stance. "Careful, Naruto," Akin's voice echoed in his mind. "His chakra rivals a-tailed beasts. I think I know what this test is, but I'll ask anyway. What's the second test, Kasame-san?" "Simple, cut me," Kasame grinned wickedly. "I will pass," Naruto vowed, drawing his katana. "Then show me," Kasame roared, charging forward as Naruto lunged to meet him. Flashback end hash, I passed Kasame's trial, Naruto said quietly, glancing at Samehada resting across his lap. "He trained me until he died 3 years ago from an illness, or so he said." Fu suddenly hugged him from the side. "Thanks, Imoto," Naruto murmured, returning the embrace. "No problem, Nick-san," she replied softly, sitting beside him. "Now about our next move," said Asuma, breaking the silence. "Let's alternate guard shifts. One team protects Tazuna while the other trains," suggested Kakashi. "Sounds fair," agreed Asuma. "Since it's your mission, your team guards first," Kakashi decided. Asuma nodded and left for the house. "All right, we've got daylight left. Let's train," Kakashi said, earning nods from all 4 genin. "I've been watching your progress for a month now. I know your fighting styles and potential strengths, and I have ideas about which ninja arts suit each of you best, if you're willing to hear them," said Kakashi, and the young shinobi leaned in with curiosity. "I'll take that as a yes." "All right, Kiba, you're first," Kakashi said, turning toward the Inuzuka heir. "Your partnership with Akamaru is your biggest asset, but it's also your greatest liability. If you two are separated, you lose a huge portion of your effectiveness. I considered ninjutsu, but your chakra pool is awkwardly balanced, not enough for heavy ninjutsu, yet too much for genjutsu to be effortless. So for you, Kiba, I'd recommend discovering your elemental affinity and blending that into your taijutsu. Also, keep an eye out for a weapon that complements your close combat style," Kakashi advised. Kiba lowered his head, thinking seriously about his mentor's words, while Kakashi faced Hinata next. "Hinata, your finest trait is the precision of your chakra control. Your weakness is your gentle nature, you're reluctant to harm others. That kindness is usually a virtue, but on missions you must be ready to kill if it's necessary, and you won't do it because of who you are. Given that, I think your role should be support. Stay back and assist with genjutsu and medical ninjutsu. Your fine control suits those tasks, and you'll avoid being thrown into situations where you're just as likely to die as your opponent, while still helping those injured," Kakashi explained. Hinata nodded, and the silver-haired Jonin shifted his gaze to Naruto. "Naruto, you've got serious control problems, but with the reserves you have, that's manageable. You've got ninjutsu, weapons, and from what I gather, fuinjutsu. There's not much I can teach you right now," Kakashi began, pausing as Naruto raised a hand. "You can stop for now, Kakashi-sensei. On this mission, I want to spend my time training Fu and polishing what I already know, if that's okay," Naruto said. "I was going to mention that I could teach you some water techniques and maybe 1 or 2 wind jutsu later, but for now, I need to focus more on your teammates than you, so that plan actually works out," Kakashi replied with a nod. Naruto turned to Fu. "That all right with you, Imoto?" he asked. The mint-haired girl beamed and hugged Naruto. He returned the hug, smiling. "All right, let's begin," Naruto declared after they separated. Several hours later, dusk was settling as Team 7 prepared to cook when a small boy in overalls and a bucket hat wandered into the clearing, drawing the ninja's attention. "Yes?" Kakashi asked, looking at the child. "Ka-chan says supper's ready if you want to come in," the boy said, then headed back toward the client's house. Naruto glanced at Kakashi, who shrugged and stood up to follow. Eating with the family could be useful. Kiba and Hinata trailed them soon after. Naruto looked at Fu, who watched him. "Are you going to go?" Fu asked. "I was going to ask you the same," Naruto replied. Fu shrugged, stood, and they both walked to the client's home. Dinner was quiet, mostly Tazuna answering a few questions from the Jonin and an occasional query from the Genin. Until, as the meal wound down, Inari spoke up for the first time since Team 7 arrived. "Why do you even bother?" the boy demanded. "Excuse me," Naruto replied, having heard him most clearly. Why are you trying so hard? You're all just going to die. Go back to your easy lives in a village far from the suffering here, Inari shouted. Inari, Tsunami yelled, but the boy glared at Naruto. Naruto's hair fell forward, hiding his eyes. The room seemed to chill, and an oppressive presence settled over everyone. When their breath became visible from the cold, Kakashi moved beside his blonde student and placed a hand on his shoulder to make him meet his silver-haired sensei's eyes. Kakashi shook his head. Naruto looked at Fu, her hair shadowing her face like his, grabbed her wrist, and her head snapped around. Her orange eyes locked with his now icy silver ones. He hauled her to her feet and led her to the door. "Good night, everyone," Naruto said, and with Fu at his side, slammed the door shut behind them. "What's their problem?" Inari scoffed. Kakashi and Asuma had to restrain Hinata and Kiba from attacking the boy. When it became obvious Asuma and Kakashi wouldn't allow it, the pair rose and followed Naruto's lead. "Good night," Kiba said before they left. Hinata followed silently. With Naruto and Fu, the two Jinchuriki stomped into the trees, choosing to vent their fury away from the campsite to avoid damaging the surrounding area. After putting distance between themselves and the clearing, Naruto let a crimson, bubbling chakra cloak his arm and slammed it into a tree. "Fuckkkkkkkkk." Naruto roared as the trunk splintered, and he was thrown backward into more trees. He dropped to his knees, head bowed, while Fu vented her own rage on the nearby flora. Red chakra continued to seep from Naruto, enveloping him. "Naruto, calm down," Akin called, but Naruto ignored her. She tried again, then, when he still didn't respond, she forcibly pulled his consciousness into his mindscape. Naruto had blacked out and found himself on a grassy knoll beside a lake, with a small home and a path leading to a stone temple, and beyond that, tall mountains, a landscape he recognized. He had created it for the Kyuubi no Vixen, Akin. As he rose under a sakura tree to find the Biju, he felt a pair of arms slip around him. "It's okay, Naruto," Akin whispered. That was all it took. He broke down, clinging to her and letting all the bottled-up anguish pour out. They didn't keep track of time. Naruto sobbed while Akin murmured soothing words. He had held a calm facade for years, always mostly alone, and Inari's spiteful outburst had shattered him. When his tears finally dried, Naruto pulled himself together. "I'll be back soon, Akin. Imoto needs me," he said, regaining his composed mask. Akin sighed as he left the mental refuge. "You need someone too, Naru-kun," the Biju thought sadly as she watched him go. Outside, at least half an hour had passed. Fu had gotten herself worked up, wrecked much of the clearing, and then collapsed. Feeling too drained to face his teammates or the probable questions, Naruto gathered Fu into a hug, watching as pain on her face eased into something like comfort. He leaned against a tree, closed his eyes, and slipped back into his mindscape while his body rested. In his inner world, Akin sat like Fu did in the real world, tails drifting, 9 white tails swaying. Naruto stepped closer and melted into her embrace. "It's just so," he began, but Akin pressed a finger to his lips. "I know," she said, wrapping him in her tails and holding him gently. She smoothed his hair, looking down at his tear-stained face until he snored. Then she placed a soft kiss on his forehead. "Sleep well, Naru-kun," Akin whispered as she closed her own eyes. Next morning, Naruto woke under a tree with Fu asleep in his arms. He made an ice clone to take Fu's place so he could stretch his legs, then walked out of the clearing. He picked up a nearby chakra signature with his limited sensing skills and followed it to a lakeside spot where a long-haired girl in a pink kimono knelt, gathering plants. "Good morning, miss," Naruto said, making her jump. She calmed quickly. "Good morning," she replied. "What's a pretty young woman like you doing out here?" Naruto trailed off, realizing he didn't know her name. "Haku, I'm Haku. I'm gathering herbs to help my friend," the girl answered, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. "Need a hand, Haku-chan?" Naruto offered with a grin. "If you don't mind. And I'm actually a boy," Haku said, deadpan. "What?" Haku blinked. "You saying you're a boy is as believable as me saying the sky is pink," Naruto replied, crouching to pluck an herb and handing it to Haku, who stared at him. "Relax, Haku-chan. I can smell a female scent on you, and I can see the bandages binding your chest," Naruto said, making Haku instinctively clutch her chest until she realized there was no way he could have seen. She flushed when she understood she'd been found out. "Don't worry, your secret's safe with me," Naruto said softly. "Thank you, Haku began, then stopped when she realized she didn't know his name. Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Yuki, he told her, and Haku's eyes widened. "Why Yuki?" she stammered. Naruto nodded, and Haku flung herself at him in tears. What is it?" Naruto asked, holding the trembling girl. "Family. I actually have family left," she whispered, shaking. Naruto hugged her tightly and silently formed a couple of clones to continue collecting herbs while he comforted her. He murmured calming words as she cried. When her shudders slowed to the occasional sob, Haku stepped back. Naruto smiled. "Better?" he asked, and she nodded. She was surprised when a pair of clones tapped her shoulder and dumped the required herbs into her basket, more than filling it. "Make sure Zabuza recovers, Haku. Now that I know my kinsman's involved, I'll move heaven and earth to keep you safe, even if it means killing Zabuza," Naruto declared, and when Haku turned to respond, he had already gone. She left the clearing conflicted. Naruto returned to the clearing where he and Fu had slept the previous night and found Fu awake, propped against a clone and smiling. When Naruto stepped into the open, Fu glanced up, puzzled, then recognition hit her. One of them was a clone. Before she could ask which was which, the real Naruto spoke. "Go fetch Kakashi and Asuma, I need to speak with them," Naruto ordered. The clone jumped up, gave a quick nod, and dashed from the clearing. Naruto moved to Fu and helped her to her feet. "Come on, Emoto. We should head back," he said, gently tugging her along. Fu fell into step beside him without protest. They walked back toward their team's campsite in silence. Naruto wore a grave expression. Fu watched him with concern. When they reached the clearing, Asuma and Kakashi were already waiting, eyes fixed on the pair. "All right, Naruto, what now?" Asuma asked. "Zabuza is alive," Naruto announced, and both Jonin stiffened. "How can you be sure?" Kakashi asked. "I met a hunter nin out in the woods," Naruto replied, and then leveled a cold look at the other nin. "And tell your teams this, Asuma, if any of you, Konoha ninja or not, cause her a serious injury, I will kill you." Slowly. Naruto's glare was fierce. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, Asuma tightened his jaw, and Hinata and Kiba looked stricken. Fu and Kiba flinched at Naruto's tone. "And why would we take orders from a genin?" Asuma snapped, emphasizing Naruto's rank. "Because she's a Yuki, my kin," Naruto growled. The revelation shocked everyone. Hinata, Fu, and Kiba reacted with alarm at his intensity. Naruto turned and strode to the edge of the clearing. "Where are you going?" Kakashi asked. "I've got seals to refine and a rematch with Zabuza to prepare for," Naruto said, then left the camp. An ice clone formed and slid back toward Fu. "Come on, Fu-chan, training time," the clone said. "Asuma, I don't like him going off alone," Asuma said, watching Naruto's silhouette vanish. "I'll handle my team. You go warn yours," Kakashi replied. Asuma nodded and left to speak with his squad. Kakashi created a clone and sent it after Naruto, then returned to training Kiba and Hinata. Naruto sat beneath a tree with a scroll unfurled beside him, ink and brush ready on one side, and a book in his lap with a pencil in hand. He glanced from the scroll to his book. "That looks about right, time to test it," he muttered, setting the book and pencil aside. He dipped the brush into ink and carefully painted the seal from the page onto his palm. Perched in a tree above, Kakashi's clone watched as Naruto traced the mark. When the seal was finished, Naruto formed an ice kunai and used it to make a shallow cut on his leg. The clone moved to intervene, but Naruto's painted hand was already glowing with green chakra. It hovered over the wound and sealed it closed. In a matter of seconds, the cut was healed. Naruto rose, walked to a nearby tree, and slammed his fist into it, uprooting and snapping it, sending it flying and ripping another tree up in the process. "Damn, still not right," Naruto said, sinking back against the tree with his pencil. Kakashi, watching from above, thought, "Not right. What does he think he can do?" He observed Naruto stand and strike another tree, snapping and launching it even farther, uprooting a second one in the blast. "Still not right," Naruto muttered, then drove his fist into the ground, creating a spiderweb of cracks 10 feet across. Kakashi wondered what Naruto aimed to accomplish as the boy adjusted the seal again. "All right, this has to be it," Naruto said. He closed his eyes, then sprang forward. He struck a tree so hard it split, The lower section was uprooted and hurled into other trees, shattering them in succession until multiple trunks turned to splinters. It clicked for Kakashi. "Wait, that looks like Tsunade-sama's strength technique," he said aloud without thinking. "Yes, Kakashi-sensei, that's the intent," Naruto replied without turning. The silver-haired clone dropped to the ground. "So you've recreated Tsunade's strength jutsu?" Kakashi asked. Naruto shook his head. "No, I've copied the effect. The seals give me the precision to control it," Naruto explained, staring at the mark on his palm as if planning how to hide it. "How did you manage it?" Kakashi's clone pressed. "I'm not telling. I worked too hard to replicate it to hand it out," Naruto said. Kakashi understood, but still wondered how Naruto had mimicked Tsunade's technique so accurately. His thoughts were cut short when Naruto unsealed something, a bow. With a flash of ice, an arrow formed. Naruto knocked it and released before Kakashi could react. Kakashi blinked twice, then arched an eyebrow. "What?" Naruto asked, noticing Kakashi's look. "You just created a super strength jutsu and then switched to bow practice," Kakashi observed. "The strength will be a last resort. I plan to use the bow against Zabuza," Naruto said. "If we let you," Kakashi replied. Naruto's eyes flashed silver with anger. "Kakashi-sensei, this is beyond the client now. I'll be the one to face Zabuza. You can stand behind me to take over if I go down, but I will fight him first," Naruto said. Kakashi remained silent. Naruto took that as an end to the discussion. The next day, Naruto's team was assigned to guard Tazuna at the bridge. Naruto, however, was busy preparing the structure for the coming battle. "So one more time with this, the bridge won't be destroyed?" Tazuna asked, watching Naruto carve a seal into the stone. "Sort of. The seal won't make the bridge completely impervious to explosions, but most blasts will be dampened enough that the surface will only suffer minimal damage. If necessary, though, the underside can still be blown to stop pursuers," Naruto explained, channeling wind chakra into his fingertip to inscribe the mark. Tazuna nodded. "Why are you doing this?" Tazuna asked again. "Because Zabuza's alive and I expect I'll fight him. The battle will probably end up on this bridge, and since I have a soft spot for explosives, I want to reduce collateral damage," Naruto said as he finished the seal. A man named Ryoku approached Tazuna, terrified. "I'm sorry, Tazuna, but I can't keep working. I'm afraid for my family," he stammered. Tazuna waved him off kindly. "I understand. Stay safe, thank you for what you've done," Tazuna said, and Ryoku left his tools and walked back to town. Tazuna sighed. "How often does that happen?" Naruto asked. "More than I'd like," Tazuna replied. Naruto formed one-hand sign. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," Naruto called. A huge cloud erupted and 200 clones of the boy appeared. "They may not be master builders, but they'll help," Naruto said. Tazuna watched in astonishment as the clones awaited instructions. "My name is Ibiki Morino, and I'll be proctoring the first exam," he continued. "No attacking each other unless instructed, and no lethal force." "Sorry, it's our first time. We're nervous," a voice called from the crowd. Naruto's head jerked toward it, recognizing it but unable to see the speaker. "Everyone, grab a tab to find your seat. Once seated, remain quiet," Ibiki ordered. Naruto waited until most had their tabs, then went up, ending next to a terrified Aim Genin. "Listen carefully. No questions," Ibiki warned. "Each starts with 10 points. Wrong answers lose 1, cheating costs 2. Teams fail together if points hit 0. You have 1 hour for 9 questions. After that, a 10th question will follow. My assistants will watch no cheating." "Your hour begins now," he said. An hour later, all right, pencils down, last question time. "But first, a few rules," Ibiki announced. "This 10th question is optional," he added. "What if we don't take it?" asked a Genin. "Then you fail," Ibiki smirked. "Of course we'll take it," another yelled. "Wait," Ibiki said. "If you fail this question, you can never take the Chunin exams again." Panic spread, and many started dropping out until snoring echoed. Ibiki stormed over. "Oi, Blondie. Wake up," he yelled, smacking Naruto on the head. "Ow, what the?" Naruto glared. "You didn't hear the rules for question 10, Ibiki growled. "Yeah, but they're nonsense, so I napped," Naruto said calmly, taking his seat. "What did you say?" Ibiki snapped. "Those rules are rubbish. No one, not even the cage, can ban someone from the Chunin exams." This test is about info gathering, now it's about leadership under pressure, which I have. Even if I'm banned, promotions in the field are still possible, Naruto explained, reclining. Around the room, Genin began regaining confidence. Well, that backfired, Ibiki muttered, walking to the front. Anyone else want to quit now? No hands went up. Pass, Ibiki finally declared. A banner flew in, pinned with kunai. Anko, early, Ibiki said as she stepped out. Naruto recognized the woman he had removed the curse mark from. 74, you're letting 74 pass, getting soft, Anko teased. Maybe just a stronger group this year, Ibiki replied. It doesn't matter, less than half will survive my test, Anko said, smirking. Meet me at training ground 44 in 5 minutes or fail, she instructed, vanishing in a swirl of leaves. Naruto followed, freezing then shattering, leaving nothing behind. Forest of Death. 5 minutes later, Naruto leaned against the fence as the last of the prospective Chunin arrived. I'm Anko Mitarashi, proctor for the second exam. Chunin will hand you forms you must sign before participating, she announced as several Chunin walked around distributing sheets. This is a survival exercise. You'll get either a heaven or earth scroll. Obtain the other and reach the tower in the forest behind me, known as the Forest of Death. She stopped at Naruto's mutter. Pht. Seen scarier, he said under his breath. A kunai flew at him, which he caught millimeters from his forehead. Anko appeared behind him, eyes wide. Those with attitudes like that die first, she smirked, taking the kunai. I bet they're all distracted by your looks, Naruto teased, seeing her blush. Anko jumped back to regain her composure. Now you must sign these waivers releasing us from any liability should you perish inside, and trust me, some of you will. If it's not the flora and fauna, it'll be each other. Each team must have one of every type of scroll at the tower within 5 days. And remember, you may not open your scrolls until you reach the tower, Anko announced. Get moving, fill them out, bring your team's paperwork up here, and swap it for your scroll, she added. Naruto waited alone beside one of the Forest of Death gates until they yawned open. One last tip, Anko's voice crackled through the loudspeakers. Don't die, she said as the gates swung wide. Naruto strolled through, unshouldering his bow and vaulting into the lower boughs. All right, Naru-kun, got a plan? Akin asked inside Naruto's head. Yeah, spend a day in the forest wrecking fools, grab both scrolls, then head to the tower, Naruto replied, and dashed off in a random direction with bow and arrows ready. Several hours later, Naruto was hopping from tree to tree when a high, panicked scream sliced through the air. He froze on a branch, then launched toward the sound. Bursting from the tree line, he found 3 AIM shinobi standing over 2 dead Kyusa ninja and a single red-haired girl, torn clothes, wide-eyed, who was likely the one who had screamed. Naruto, she's definitely in Uzumaki, Akin noted. Doesn't matter, I'd save her anyway, Naruto muttered, knocking 3 arrows for the 3 AIM's heads. Before he could release, one of the AIM turned. We've got company, the man warned. His partners spun to see Naruto and the arrows flew. Only one struck true, sending one ninja down dead, the other 2 scowled at Naruto. Oh, you're toast now, pal, one of them sneered. Naruto slung his bow and dropped from the branch into a crouch. The ground bucked beneath him as he landed. Is that so? Naruto asked, drawing his blade. Ooh, scary, big sword, compensating for something, one of the pair mocked. They laughed until a mist slid in, muffling the sound and freezing them still. I thought he was from Konoha, one AIM said. His headband looked Konoha to me, the other added. It is. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the legacy, the second coming of the monster of the mist, Naruto's disembodied voice echoed from the fog. Like that bastard, I could just kill you. But you were going to assault my cousin, so I'll make you suffer, Naruto declared. What are you gonna do, Blondie? They taunted. Hayaten Shimo Buresu ice style. Frost breath, Naruto called, exhaling a cloud of ice at them. Both dodged but were clipped, their feet were caught in the frost. Naruto materialized from the fog and slammed his blade into both, then faded back. Son of a one AIM gasped until Naruto kicked him in the jaw, knocking him down. Before he could recover, 2 pairs of arrows pierced each of his limbs. He screamed as Naruto reappeared and stomped his face, crushing the skull. You bastard, the last AIM roared and an arrow struck him between the eyes. The mist cleared and he collapsed. Please, don't hurt me, the red-haired girl stammered, backing away. Hey, I won't hurt you. What's your name? Naruto crouched, putting them eye to eye. KK Karin Uzumaki, she whispered, still shaking. Karin, I'm Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Yuki, he said, smiling. Her eyes widened. Uzumaki, Karin repeated. Naruto nodded, and a red blur tackled him. It's okay, Karin, Naruto soothed, rubbing her back gently. Family, that's all I ever wanted since my mother died, Karin mumbled into Naruto's chest. Then stay, I can shelter you, come to Konoha. Stay with me, Imoto, Naruto offered, making Karin, Nick-san, she breathed, hugging him. Naruto returned the hug and silently formed a clone to hunt for scrolls. After a few minutes, the clone returned with a heaven scroll to go with the earth one Naruto already carried. All right, Imoto, we need to go. I still have an exam to pass, Naruto said. But you're alone, Karin asked. Yeah, I entered solo, Naruto replied. Oh, okay, she said, standing. Naruto took Karin's hand and they leapt into the treetops and ran. A few minutes later, he stopped and crouched before her. Hop on, we'll be faster, he said. Karin nodded and climbed onto his back. Naruto sprang forward through the branches. So, Nick-san, Karin began. Naruto nodded for her to continue. How did you use that Kirigakure no Jutsu? I thought only Kirigakure shinobi could perform it, she asked, chin on his shoulder. I trained away from Konoha for 6 years under different teachers. One was ex-Giri and a former 7 swordsman, Naruto replied. Karin hummed. Who else trained you? She probed. Not something I want to go into right now, Naruto deflected. Karin accepted the answer. Naruto then spotted 3 Kyusa shinobi below wandering the forest floor. Those jerks, Karin seethed. You know them? Naruto asked. They tormented me because of my red hair, Karin said, glaring. Naruto set her down. Then it's time they learn what happens when they mess with my family, Naruto said and dropped to the ground. Oi, you idiots, over here, Naruto called, drawing his bow. And who are you? One snarled. The brother of the girl you mocked, Naruto replied, loading 3 arrows at once. You're dumb, 3 of us, 1 of you, the leader taunted. Maybe you miscounted, Naruto said and released. All 3 arrows struck in a straight vertical line up the chest of the weakest member. Hayaten Huryu no Jutsu, Ice-style Ice Dragon, Naruto bellowed. An ice dragon formed and chased another member. He tried to evade, but the dragon swallowed him and smashed him into ice. Because to me there's only one, Naruto said, glaring as the man went white with fear. What are you? The man stammered. I'm your death, Naruto replied, tearing the massive sword from his back and charging, slicing him from left hip to right shoulder. That was for Karin, Naruto muttered, then searched and found a heaven scroll. He returned to Karin and leaned down so she could climb back on. Once she was secure, he ran toward the tower. He froze on a branch. What is it? Karin asked. I need you to go with my clone, Naruto said and formed the water clone with hand signs. What? Why? Karin asked. Because I have to see some people who might not be kind to you, even with me around, Naruto said. The clone took Karin's hand. He'll get you to the tower safe, Naruto promised. Karin nodded and left with the clone. Naruto turned west and began moving through the treetops. Soon he dropped to a knee and concealed himself as he watched 3 figures wander, looking lost. He slipped off the branch and landed with a heavy thud, crouching and facing the surprised trio. Naruto, the black-haired girl breathed. Hey, you lot, Naruto said, standing. Naruto, the girl cried, rushing and tackling him to the ground. Hey Kin, how are you? Naruto asked, only to be met with a punch to the chest as she sobbed. He said you were dead. He promised, where were you? Kin demanded, striking him. The other 2 glared at the blonde. I'm sorry, but I had to leave to stop his deadlier experiments. I stayed as long as I could to secure your freedom, Naruto explained. Why show yourself now? The gaunt genin asked, hands trembling. I wanted to speak with you away from him, Naruto said. About what? The mummified-looking genin asked. You leaving Otto and joining Konoha, Naruto replied as Kin slid off him. Naruto, you can't be serious. We work for one of Konoha's biggest traders, why would they accept us? Another asked. I'm serious, Zaku. If you tell me what you know about that snake, I can get you asylum in Konoha under my clan's protection. Orochimaru isn't going to risk assaulting an entire village for 3 genin, Naruto offered. Naruto, he started Zaku. Already intends to strike Konoha. I'm aware, Naruto interrupted with a smirk. You really think I'm that blind, Zaku? I've still got eyes and ears inside that village. Then what's the point of bringing us along? Surely your spy can tell you everything, questioned the bandaged genin. Naruto gave a faint chuckle. I don't need you three for intel, Dasu. You're here because you're the only ones from Otagakure I actually consider friends, and that's saying something. The three Odo genin exchanged glances before turning back toward him. So what's the plan? Kin finally asked. Which scroll did you guys get? Naruto questioned casually. We've got an earth scroll, why? Replied Zaku. Naruto reached into his pouch, pulled out a heaven scroll, and tossed it toward Dasu. Head straight for the tower and don't take unnecessary risks, Naruto said, nodding at them. They nodded back before Naruto's body froze and shattered into glimmering shards of ice. The next day, Naruto entered the tower early in the morning, having just finished his journey after waking up an hour earlier. Oh, Haku-chan, he greeted, spotting his girlfriend nearby. Morning, Naruto-kun, she murmured, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. Guess the forest didn't give you any trouble, huh? He teased, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Not at all. What about you? She replied, kissing his cheek. Kind of dull actually, he said with a smirk. Later, Naruto was sprawled across his bed, bored out of his mind. He'd reached the tower 2 days ago and still had 2 more to wait. Leaving wasn't an option, disqualification wasn't on his list. Knock, knock, knock. Naruto frowned. He wasn't expecting company. Rising, he opened the door. Naruto-kun, may I come in? Came a familiar voice. Does it look like I have a choice? He replied dryly. Quite right, said Orochimaru, stepping inside as Naruto shut the door. So, sensei, what brings you here? Naruto asked, sarcasm dripping from his tone. Oh, nothing important, Orochimaru said smoothly. Just wanted to check on my favorite student. Your favorite, huh? I thought Kabuto had that honor. How's your little pet doing these days? Naruto shot back, eyes narrowing. That's not why I came here, Orochimaru said evenly. Then let me guess, you want to discuss the Uchiha and his Sharingan. Or maybe that little invasion plan of yours, Naruto countered. Orochimaru's eyes thinned. You seem far too informed for your own good, Naruto-kun. Maybe I should silence you. Naruto chuckled. Go ahead, but the second you do, my seals go off. They log chakra signatures in this room. The Hokage and I are the only ones who know their location. Kill me, and he'll know you're here long before you want him to. Orochimaru's glare hardened. You picked up trap-making from the best, I see. I learn quickly, Naruto replied, smirking. You regret taking me as your student now, don't you? If I hadn't, my research wouldn't have been set back by your parting gifts, Orochimaru hissed. Those tags wiped out years of your experiments, didn't they? Naruto mocked. If you don't want Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri to know about your little thefts, I suggest you leave me alone. Orochimaru sneered but said nothing. I think it's time you left, sensei, Naruto said, moving to the door. You win this round, brat, Orochimaru hissed as he sank into the floor. But I always win in the end. 2 days later, Naruto stood among 23 genin who had survived the second stage. Congratulations on passing the Forest of Death, said the third Hokage. But there are still too many of you. Allow me, Hokage-sama, came a weak voice. A pale-looking Jonin appeared beside him, coughing. I am Hayate Gecko, proctor of the third stage. Cough, cough, since there are too many competitors, we'll hold preliminaries. Cough if you're too injured or tired, step down now. Cough, cough. From this point, it's every shinobi for themselves. A white-haired genin raised his hand. I'm withdrawing, he said before leaving. Naruto watched Kabuto walk off, narrowing his eyes. He'd have to tell the Hokage about Kabuto's true allegiance later. Anyone else? Hayate asked through another cough. When no one responded, he gestured to a large screen that lit up with random names. These matches will determine who advances, Hayate announced. You might face an ally or an enemy. Be prepared for anything. Names flickered, then stopped. Everyone except Naruto Uzumaki, Dasu Kinuta, Yori Akato, and Misumi Tsurugi, please move to the upper level, Hayate instructed. Well, this should be fun, Misumi said. Easy win, boasted Yori. Dasu clenched his fist, ready to charge, but Naruto stopped him with a hand on his shoulder. He's trying to provoke you, Dasu. Don't bite, Naruto warned. Dasu gave a sharp nod. Been a while since we fought together, huh? Dasu muttered. Naruto's lips curved into a smirk as frost swirled around his left hand, while Dasu's right began to hum. Shocked whispers spread among the observers, save for Kin, Zaku, their sensei, and Hiruzen. Both sides ready. Hayate coughed, then shouted, "Begin!" Naruto and Dasu sprinted forward. Naruto targeted Misumi, slashing with his clawed hand, but the flexible genin contorted away unnaturally. Dasu struck at Yor, but the latter dodged and countered by placing his hand on Dasu's chest. "What, my chakra? You're draining it," Dasu gasped. Seeing his teammate in trouble, Naruto flipped forward and drove his hand into Misumi's face, slamming him into the floor before spinning into a double kick that sent Yori flying. Landing on his feet, Naruto grabbed his bow, dodged a kunai, and fired an arrow. Yori leapt aside just as it hit the ground. "You missed!" Yor started, before an explosion sent him crashing into the wall. Before Naruto could react, Misumi's arms twisted around him, binding his limbs and neck. "Move, and I'll snap your neck," Misumi hissed. "Dasu, now!" Naruto barked. Dasu's gauntlet pulsed with sound as he slammed it into Misumi's head, forcing him to release Naruto as he convulsed violently before collapsing. "Katen, Gakikyu no Jutsu!" Yori roared, hurling a massive fireball. Naruto extended his left hand, absorbing it entirely. "How the hell?" Yor shouted. "Sealing arts, idiot," Naruto snapped, leaping forward and smashing his fist into the ground. The resulting quake cracked the arena floor, blowing debris in all directions. Dasu took advantage of the chaos, hammering Misumi's face, then grabbing his head and unleashing a vibrating pulse. Blood poured from Misumi's ears, eyes, and nose before Dasu flung him into the wall with a sickening crunch. Naruto closed in on Yori, slamming a chakra-fueled punch into his stomach that launched him backward. The wall cracked under the impact as Yori crumpled, gasping for breath. "Dasu, stand down, he's mine," Naruto said calmly. Dasu halted. "Hayaten, Huryu no Jutsu," Naruto roared, summoning an ice dragon that surged forward. Yori dodged, but the dragon's tail grazed his side, freezing part of his body solid. "Hayaten Kori Surasa no Jutsu Ice Release, Ice Slicer Technique." Naruto launched 10 razor-sharp ice discs spinning around him, shooting them toward the now upright Yori. The Konoha shinobi leapt to the side to evade the first disc and vaulted over the second, but the third caught him, slicing through layers of flesh. From that point, Yori's attempts to dodge were disastrous, each disc cutting anywhere from shallow nicks to deep gashes. Yet Naruto wasn't finished. He charged forward and struck Yori square in the chest with an open palm, then abruptly stopped, withdrawing his hand and standing calmly before him. "What did you do to me?" Yori demanded, frozen in place. "Paralysis seal, loser," Naruto replied, poking him on the head and sending him stumbling backward. At that moment, Hayate reappeared on the battlefield. "Cough cough, Yori and Misumi are unable to cough cough continue. Winners, Naruto and Dasu," announced Hayate as medics came to collect the two ninjas. Naruto exchanged a glance with Hiruzen, who smiled warmly, until he noticed Naruto forming ANBU hand signs. "Yori and Misumi are traitors. Should I send ANBU after them?" Hiruzen thought, reading Naruto's gestures. "How do you know?" Hiruzen asked, mirroring the hand seals as Naruto began ascending the stairs. "I met them when I was in Auto. They're Auto spies," Naruto explained. Hiruzen nodded and signaled ANBU to be ready in Yori and Misumi's quarters for when they woke, or, in Misumi's case, if he regained consciousness. Anko, standing nearby, noticed Naruto's signs went unnoticed in her world. It has to be him, the only other person in Konoha with Fuinjutsu knowledge. But how would he know what Jiraiya-sama couldn't remove? "I need to talk to him," Anko mused silently. "Next match. Cough 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 Tenten versus Temari. Please come down," Hayate called. "Winner, cough cough Temari," Hayate declared, returning to the arena as medics carried off the unconscious Tenten. The sickly announcer's gaze returned to the screen as names flickered and settled on 4. "Could Kin Suchai, cough cough cough, Zaku Abumi, Hinata cough Hyuga, and Kiba cough and Yuzuka please join me here?" Hayate called. "Good luck, you too," Naruto said as Kiba and Hinata walked past him. The 4 ninjas stepped onto the battlefield, poised for combat. Naruto remained undecided who to support, current or former teammates, so he leaned against the wall and observed. All parties cough ready? Begin, Hate announced, leaping away. Byakugan, Hinata called, veins around her eyes protruding. Akamaru leapt off Kiba's head, growling at the two Odo genin. Zaku pointed both hands, revealing tubes in his palms, while Kin flicked her fingers, releasing Senbin ready to strike at any moment. The four stood frozen briefly as tension built. Then Kiba lunged, Akamaru following in sync. Getsuga fang passing fang, Kiba yelled, spinning into a drill aimed at Zaku. Zankyuha decapitating airwaves, Zaku countered, but the airwaves barely altered Kiba and Akamaru's path. Zaku leapt back to avoid collision. Kin dodged the drill and hurled her Senbin at Hinata. Hakesho Kaiton, 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. Hinata spun, forming a chakra dome that deflected the Senbin, which scattered harmlessly. She charged Kin, fingertips glowing with chakra. Kin threw another volley, but Hinata jumped aside and closed in. Daten, Doryuheki Earth style, Earth wall. Zaku raised walls to block Kiba and Akamaru, but they surged forward unimpeded. As Zaku's walls crumbled, he hurled an explosive kunai that scattered Kiba and Akamaru. Kin readied her chakrams, sending them toward Hinata on chakra strings. Hinata, sliding under the weapons, severed the threads with her chakra-coated fingers, then flipped back to kick Kin in the chin, sending her sprawling. She followed with a strike to Kin's neck, felling her. Kiba spun toward Zaku, forming a blue-tinted whirlwind. Zankakayokyuha extreme decapitating airwaves. Zaku tried to redirect it, but the cyclone vanished, and Kiba's gauntlet slashed his back, sparking. Zaku fell defeated. Winners, Kiba and Yuzuka and Hinata Hyuga, Hate declared. They nodded and climbed the stairs. Good work, Naruto praised. Thanks for warning us about their seals, Kiba said sarcastically. It wouldn't have been fair to reveal it, Naruto replied. Naruto-kun, Anko's watching you again, Akin whispered in his mind. She's probably figured out, or at least suspects, I removed the seal, Naruto mused. Is that really bad? A new female voice asked. It's me, Naruto-kun, same Nakuya, the sword spirit revealed. Wait, didn't you have a male voice when I first recombined you? Naruto asked. Yes, that was the form my previous wielder requested, same Nakuya explained. So you take any form your wielder wants, Naruto queried. Exactly, she replied. Do you have a form in mind for me? Naruto asked. I'm fine with whatever you choose, same Nakuya-chan, he said. Call me Shiarly Naruto-kun, the sword spirit replied. Sure thing, Shiarly-chan, Naruto smiled. Could Haku Yuki, Fuyu Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Ino Yamanaka please come down? Hate called. Naruto, Kiba, and Hinata grinned. Crush them, Naruto encouraged as Haku and Fu passed. Watch me, Sasukekun, Sakura screeched, making Naruto and Kiba cover their ears. No, watch me, Sasukekun, Ino yelled, glaring at Sakura. The four stood ready, too calm, too bickering. All parties ready? Hate asked. Fu and Haku nodded. Yes, Sakura shrieked. Yeah, Ino confirmed. Begin, Hate leapt away. I'll finish this in one punch, Sakura declared. Really? Haku tilted her head, calmly observing. Sakura charged. Haku sidestepped, striking her in the face, then swept her feet and grabbed her shirt. Here, Fu, catch this little troublemaker, Haku said, practically tossing Sakura toward Fu. No way, I'm not catching anything nasty, Fu replied, kicking Sakura squarely in the back toward Ino. Ino, too stunned to react, was slammed into by Sakura, and both Kunoichi went flying, hitting the wall hard. Groaning, they pushed themselves up and glared at Haku and Fu. Haku casually stood with her hands behind her back, while Fu leaned on one leg, arms crossed just below her chest. This is getting dull, Haku remarked, glancing at Fu, who simply nodded in agreement. Gaah, I'll get you for that. Sakura screamed again, charging at Haku. This time she planned something smarter. Bunshin no jutsu, Sakura called, creating clones as she rushed forward. Haku backhanded through the duplicates, striking the original with enough force to send her stumbling. Haku then sidestepped an incoming attack from Ino, disappearing in a puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Fu appeared, landing a knee to Ino's stomach and doubling her over. Fu vanished in another smoke cloud, only for Haku to reappear mid-kick, slamming Ino to the ground and rolling her away with her foot. Sakura got back up, charging at Haku again, but Haku merely rolled her eyes and spun, striking Sakura in the face with her foot. Sakura crashed into the wall, spiderweb cracks spreading from the impact. Hayate landed nearby, ready to call the match, but Ino glared at him. "We're not done yet," Ino declared, forcing Hayate to step back. "Fine, go embarrass yourselves further, see if I care," Hayate wheezed, backing away. Ino fixed her gaze on Haku and Fu, forming her clan's hand sign for mind transfer. "Ino, you fool. They're unrestrained. If you miss, you're defenseless." Kurenai's voice rang out from above. Ignoring her sensei, Ino focused on Haku. "Shintenshin no jutsu," she shouted, sending her mind toward Haku. But Haku vanished in smoke, replaced by a barely conscious Sakura. Too late, Ino's mind had entered Sakura's body. Before she could react, Fu struck, punching Sakura squarely in the face, then slammed the girl's head on her knee. Both Sakura and Ino collapsed to the floor. "Winners, Haku Yuki and Fu Uzumaki," announced Hayate. "Well, that was painfully boring," Naruto thought. "You could join in, Naruto-kun. I'd make it interesting," Shirley teased. "No, Akin," Naruto started. "Oi, that wasn't me this time," Akin interrupted. "Seriously, Naruto, you can't tell our voices apart," Shirley pouted audibly. "Habit, that's all." "Akin usually suggests stuff like that," Naruto muttered, thinking, just what I needed, another pervert. Next match, Sasuke Uchiha and Neji Hyuga versus Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akimichi. "Competitors, please step forward," wheezed Hayate, glancing at the board. Shikamaru and Choji exchanged smiles as they descended, while Neji and Sasuke glared at each other. Arrogance A and B against perfect teamwork, Naruto mused. "Unfortunately, it looks like Uchiha and Hyuga might win," Akin said. "Yeah, I'm afraid you're right," Naruto agreed, watching as the four entered the arena. "Are the combatants ready?" Hayate asked. "A-Chen," Sasuke muttered. "Yes," Neji confirmed. "Yeah," Choji said. "Troublesome but fine," Shikamaru muttered. "Begin," Hayate called, jumping back. "You two might as well give up, you're destined to lose," Neji said coolly. "Oh, shut up, Hyuga," Sasuke retorted arrogantly. "What was that?" Neji snapped. "I said focus, we have a match," Sasuke shot back, and Neji turned his attention to Shikamaru and Choji. "Right," Neji muttered, glaring. "Beika no Jutsu, Nikyuden Sensha." Choji activated both techniques, expanding into a massive human boulder and rolling toward the two Dojutsu users. "Byakugan," Neji jumped aside. Sharingan, Sasuke activated his eyes, but grimaced, clutching his shoulder and quickly deactivated. So he did get marked, Naruto noticed, as Choji slammed Sasuke into the wall. Shikamaru dropped to a knee, forming the rat sign. "Keijukami no Jutsu." He manipulated his shadow to guide Choji's rolling form toward Neji. Neji dodged, but Shikamaru noticed Sasuke struggling to stand. Choji rolled into Sasuke, sending him crashing backward and leaving him unconscious. Neji, sweating, faced Shikamaru and Choji's coordinated attacks in the confined arena. He jumped out of Choji's path and pursued Shikamaru. Shikamaru, calculating, released Choji's boulder toward Neji. Neji followed the plan, evading, but Choji kept pursuing. Shikamaru, thinking fast, threw a kunai at Neji midair. Neji dodged and continued following Shikamaru, kawarimiing logs to evade Choji. "Kageme no Jutsu!" Shikamaru's shadow seized Neji, freezing him. Choji rolled into him with immense force, sending Neji flying into the wall, spiderweb cracks forming on impact. Neji blacked out as Guy caught him. "Winners, Shikamaru Nara and Choji Akimichi," Hayate announced as medics rushed to assist. "That was unexpected," Naruto muttered. "Just a bit," Akin agreed. Hayate quickly moved to the next match. Next, Kankuro Sabaku versus Shino Aburame, step forward. The two genin entered and Hayate asked, "Ready?" "Yes," Kankuro said. "Ready," Shino replied calmly. "Begin," Hayate called. Shino analyzed his opponent, noticing the bundle on Kankuro's back. "Puppeteer," Shino muttered, sending a swarm of insects toward the bundle. "Damn it," a voice groaned as the bandages fell away, revealing a second Kankuro who leapt free. The first Kankuro collapsed. Smoke obscured the arena as a puppet flew toward Shino, who sent out his insect swarm to intercept. The puppet's jaw snapped open, sending a flurry of senbon hurtling toward Shino. The genin, attuned to insects, noticed the purple fluid coating the needles. They struck, embedding into his skin, until Shino dissolved into a writhing swarm of bugs. Out of nowhere, a kunai shot toward the puppet. Kankuro, pulling his puppet back from a now-thinning smoke screen, avoided disaster just in time. The kunai detonated as it hit the ground. Shino emerged silently behind Kankuro, pressing a kunai to his throat. "I win, Kankuro-san," Shino said, his voice calm and measured. "Don't celebrate too soon, bug boy," Kankuro replied, vanishing into a cloud of smoke as his puppet replaced him. The puppet's head pivoted toward Shino, releasing a thick purple gas from its mouth. Shino quickly swapped places with a nearby log, appearing across the room. Kankuro hurled a kunai at him, but Shino responded in kind, deflecting it with deadly precision. The puppet advanced, spitting more senbon, which Shino blocked. As it neared, its jaw opened again, spewing a cloud of purple fog. Shino leapt back just in time. "Katen. Gakikyu no jutsu," Shino called, launching a fireball at Kankuro and his puppet. The puppet was yanked aside. Kankuro barely dodged as the fireball passed, searing his chakra. Reattaching his puppet's strings, Kankuro sent it charging at Shino. Smoke bombs erupted, shrouding the puppet. Shino retreated swiftly, preparing for the next strike. Suddenly, two of the puppet's bladed arms shot from the smoke. Shino barely jumped back in time, pulling out a pair of kunai to block. The push was relentless, forcing him to perform a kawarimi with a nearby log, immediately transitioning into hand signs. "Katen. Hosenka no jutsu," Shino called, spewing a barrage of fireballs at Kankuro's back. Kankuro leapt aside for the first few, but one fireball threatened his face. He kawarimi'd across the arena just in time, and then felt his legs go numb. Looking down, he saw them swarming with insects. "What the?" Kankuro exclaimed as the bugs crawled over him. "I planted a female insect on you when I had you at kunai point," Shino said, a faint smirk on his face. "The males will follow her scent through hell or heaven. But what about your fire jutsu? Didn't you care about killing your bugs?" Kankuro asked, confused. "When I first practiced Katen, I introduced heat-resistant insects into my hives. Now even a C-rank fire jutsu won't touch them," Shino replied, fully smirking. "Winner, cough cough Shino Aburame," Hate announced, and Shino recalled his insects. "He's strong. I'll need to watch him closely in the finals," Naruto thought to himself. "If it comes to it, I can flood your system with my Yaokai. No Aburame insect can survive that," Akin interjected from within Naruto's mind. "Next match, Cough Cough Rock Lee vs. Cough Cough Gura Sabaku." "YOSH. My turn," Lee shouted. "YOSH, show them your flames of youth, Lee-kun," Guy encouraged. "Lee-kun, Guy-sensei, Lee-kun, Gai-sensei." The two embraced, and behind them the dreaded sunset genjutsu began. "Get down," Naruto shouted, leaping to shield his teammates from witnessing the horrifying illusion. Most in the arena turned away, but a few unlucky souls couldn't avert their eyes, later collapsing, spasming from the shock. Lee vaulted over the bars to the arena floor, standing across from Gura. "Begin," Hayate called. "Winner, Gura Cough Cough Sabaku," Hayate announced. "All the winners, please come forward," Hayate continued, as the 11 victorious genin gathered in the center. "She's staring at you again, Naruto," Shiarly whispered. Naruto quickly glanced at Anko, who indeed was watching him. "Congratulations on winning. You 11 will advance to the third round," Hayate said. Anko walked down the line, handing out numbers to decide matchups. "Kiba, 8. Akamaru barked in agreement. Shikamaru muttered, 6. Temari, 3. Haku, 4. Naruto, 9. Fu, 11. Dasu, 1. Gaara, 10. Hinata, 5. Choji, 7. Shino, 2. "Thanks," Anko said, writing down the results. Matchups: Dasu vs. Shino, Temari vs. Haku, Hinata vs. Shikamaru, Choji vs. Kiba, Naruto vs. Gaara. "Fu gets a bye," Anko declared. "You'll have 1 month to prepare for the finals," Hiruzen explained. "A month? Why not hold the finals now?" Choji complained. "We need time for important guests to arrive, daimyos, foreign cage, and other dignitaries. Also, a month allows us all to rest," Naruto reasoned. "All dismissed," Hiruzen said, leaving as the Jonin guided their teams. "Training ground 7 tomorrow at 7, Kakashi told Naruto, Haku, and Fu. They nodded, leaving together. "Oi, Uzumaki, a word," Anko called from behind. Naruto turned to meet her gaze. "You two head home first. You'll probably meet a red-haired girl named Karin. She's trustworthy, but be gentle, she might still be scared, Naruto instructed. Haku kissed Naruto on the cheek before leaving with Fu. So, Anko-san, what's up? Naruto asked. I'd rather not hear, Anko replied. Naruto nodded, and she led him to the tower roof. What does she want? Naruto asked mentally. The curse mark, duh, Akin replied. But it's gone, why ask now? Shirley wondered. At the top, overlooking the serene forest, Anko spoke. It's peaceful here, don't you think? She asked. Yeah, but I know that's not why you brought me here, Naruto said knowingly. You're right. I came here to calm myself before I ask something, Anko admitted nervously. Just ask, I won't judge, Naruto reassured her. Anko closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. I saw your Fuinjutsu in the prelims. Do you know anything about curse marks? She asked cautiously. Did you want yours removed? Naruto inquired. No, someone saved me from attackers one night and removed the mark, Anko explained. So you're searching for them? Naruto guessed. Exactly, she nodded. Was it me? Naruto asked. I've asked everyone skilled in Fuinjutsu, but no one claims it, Anko replied. Why are you looking for this person? Naruto pressed. Just to thank them, Anko admitted. It was me. I saved you because I hate rapists and removed the mark because it was evil. Not for thanks, Naruto said, gazing at the forest. Anko stared at him, stunned. I made a promise to myself about that mark, you know. I told myself that if it ever got removed, I would thank whoever did it in any way they wanted, whether it's treating them to a meal, giving them as much money as they wished, or even offering my body for a night. So, is there anything you'd like from me as thanks, Naruto? Anko asked, glancing down at him. No, Anko-san, just seeing you smile is more than enough, Naruto replied, grinning at her as she rolled her eyes playfully. I still think I owe you something. How about I take you out for dango? Anko suggested. You're really not going to let this drop, huh? Naruto said, noticing her shake her head. He chuckled and rolled his eyes. All right then, Anko, he said with a grin. Before he could protest further, Anko rested a hand on his shoulder, and they vanished together in a swirl of leaves. Konoha Market District they reappeared in front of a dango shop. Anko turned, expecting Naruto to look at least a little unwell, but he seemed perfectly fine. I've been able to shunshin for years. Sorry to disappoint you, Anko-chan, Naruto said smugly. Tusk what a letdown, Naruto-kun, Anko teased, exaggerating a sigh as she stepped into the store, Naruto following closely behind. Ah, Anko-chan, I was wondering when you'd show up today. And you brought a friend, I see. The man behind the counter greeted warmly. Not just any friend, Ren. This is the guy who removed the curse mark. This is Naruto, Anko introduced. Ren's eyes widened in surprise. Well, Gaki, I'd thank you, but I assume that's why you and Anko are here, he asked. She wouldn't accept my thanks, so here we are, Naruto replied. Because of what you did for Anko, everything is on the house, Ren said with a grin, causing Anko's eyes to sparkle. So, what'll it be, Naruto? Ren asked, noticing Anko's pout. I can guess what she'll have, so I'm asking what you want, Anko, he added, rolling his eyes. I'm not a huge dango fan, so whatever's good, Naruto shrugged. Ren nodded and prepared their orders. A short while later, Ren handed over 2 bags, a larger one for Anko and a smaller one for Naruto. Enjoy your day, you too, Ren called as they walked out. Thanks, Ren, Anko said, closing the door behind them. So, where to next? She asked. Well, you showed me your favorite spot, so let me show you mine, Naruto said, placing a hand on her shoulder. In a swirl of snow, they vanished. On top of the Hokage monument they reappeared atop the monument, snow swirling around them as they overlooked the village. Wow, this place is beautiful, Anko breathed, digging into her dango. Yeah, it's great. Quiet, perfect for clearing my head, and it even has some good hiding spots, Naruto said, eyes widening at his own slip. Hiding spots? Anko asked. Naruto sighed and looked away. When I was younger, I got chased a lot. The villagers feared me as the Kyuubi, and most ninja didn't care. Sometimes I got away, sometimes I didn't. Most of the time I got hurt, anything from a few bruises to near death, Naruto explained. Anko's eyes widened in shock. How can you talk about that so calmly? How are you even sane? She asked. Who said I'm sane? I just keep it together. My mind, it's a little unhinged. But I left the village at 6, traveled the world, and met people who saw me for me. Even if there are only a few like that, it's enough, Naruto said, smiling. Well, Naruto, you can add me to that list, Anko said with a grin. Naruto returned her smile. Thanks, Anko, he said softly. I'm sorry to interrupt, a voice called. Both turned to see a cat-masked female ANBU standing behind them. Who are you here for? Naruto asked. You, Naruto-san. Hokage-sama wishes to speak with you, the ANBU replied. All right, I'll be there soon, Naruto said, turning back to Anko. This was fun, even if short. We should hang out again, he said. Sure, Gaki. If you ever want, you'll find me at the Forest of Death or Ren's shop, Anko said with a smile. Naruto nodded, vanishing in a swirl of snow. So, what was that about? The ANBU asked. It's him, Yugo, Anko said, confusing the ANBU briefly. Oh, he removed the curse mark, Yugo asked, realizing. Anko nodded. And what did he ask for? Yugo pressed. Nothing. I offered my thanks, but he said my smile was enough, Anko admitted, blushing. Someone's got a little crush, Yugo teased. Shut up, Anko snapped, flicking her dango stick like a senbon. Yugo dodged, smirking. Bye, Anko-chan, the ANBU said, vanishing in a swirl of leaves. Anko looked down, blushing furiously. He's really nice and cute too, she murmured. Naruto appeared atop the Hokage monument, noticing the office window open. He jumped, sliding inside Hiruzen's office. Well, that was fun, Naruto said, seeing the shocked faces of Dasu, Kin, Zaku, and the bruised Yorig and Masumi. Hiruzen looked curious. You called for me, Jiji? Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto, we need to talk, Hiruzen replied. Naruto walked over to the chairs in front of the desk and sat. Go ahead, Jiji, he said. First, your 3 friends, you're placing them under Uzumaki protection, Hiruzen started. Naruto raised an eyebrow. What about them? He asked. The main issue is lodging. Jiraiya's home has limited space, most rooms taken, and I'm sure you're eager to avoid his perversions, Hiruzen explained. The Senju compound is an option, Naruto said, interrupting. Before you object, I know I'm not technically a Senju, but the last one alive isn't returning anytime soon. The Senju and Uzumaki were once one. Of anyone here, I'm closest. My mother was unofficially adopted into the Senju, and my godmother is the last living Senju, Naruto declared. Hiruzen paused. You have a point, but it's still a Senju compound, Hiruzen said. Naruto sighed, rolling up his sleeve to reveal a Senju crest. I wasn't supposed to show this yet, but she's not coming back soon, Naruto said, handing Hiruzen a paper from the crest. Hiruzen's eyes widened. How did? Hiruzen started. I met Tsunade weeks after leaving, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded. With this, you can access the Senju compound, Hiruzen said. The others in the room looked shocked. Now about these 5. Naruto, how did you get involved with Odo? Hiruzen asked. Naruto nodded. Well, he began. Flashback a 7-year-old Naruto sat alone on a rock in a clearing, about a week into being on his own. He jumped up at a sound near the edge of the clearing. 2 people appeared, a red-haired girl with brown eyes and a white-haired boy with green eyes. Oi, Kimimaro, the brat thinks he's tough, the girl teased, nudging the boy. That stance looks too refined to be self-taught, Kimimaro remarked. Naruto narrowed his eyes, realizing he had nowhere to run. So, where are your parents? Kimimaro asked. Naruto looked down. Both looked at him with mixed pity. Come with us, our master will welcome you, Kimimaro said. Naruto hesitated. All right, he finally said. Cool, got a name, kid? The red-haired girl asked politely. Naruto Uzumaki, he stammered. Both looked surprised. Uzumaki, she asked. Yes, why? Naruto replied. Teuya Uzumaki, nice to meet you, she said softly. Then, does that mean you're my family? Naruto asked, a small, tearful smile forming on his lips. Teuya, unable to hold back any longer, rushed forward and enveloped him in a tight hug. SHHH, don't cry, Atoto, she whispered, her own eyes glistening as she held him close. Then you have to stop crying, Ni-chan, Naruto murmured, looking up at her. The comment made Teuya giggle softly. She straightened and glanced toward Kimimaro. Say a word about this, and I'll use the dullest, rustiest kunai I can find to castrate you, then feed you your own balls, Teuya warned, earning a swift nod from the white-haired boy. Come on, Naruto, let's go, she said, extending her hand. Naruto returned her warm smile before taking it. The three of them moved out of the clearing, weaving through the forest, with Kimimaro silently trailing behind. After about 20 minutes, they arrived at what looked like a stone bunker, surrounded by serpent statues. Naruto's eyes widened, a hint of fear in his gaze. "It's all right, Naruto-kun. I'll keep you safe," Teuya reassured, placing him protectively in front of her before stepping inside. Kimimaro followed quietly. The trio navigated the candle-lit corridors. At a certain door, Teuya pushed it open and the three entered. "Ah, Kimimaro-kun, Teuya-chan, welcome back. Was the mission successful?" A voice called from the shadows. A man with jet-black hair, pale skin, and golden eyes emerged. "Yes, Orochimaru-sama. Everything went according to plan," Kimimaro replied from behind Naruto and Teuya. "Excellent, and who is this?" Orochimaru asked, eyes falling on Naruto, who clung to Teuya. "This is Naruto Uzumaki. We found him alone in the woods on our way back and thought it best to bring him here," Teuya explained. Orochimaru raised an eyebrow, scrutinizing the boy. "Where do you come from, Naruto-kun?" Orochimaru inquired. "Konoha," Naruto said. Orochimaru's eyes flickered with surprise, though his face remained calm. "So this is Namikaze's child, an impressive discovery. Perhaps I could mold him into the perfect weapon to burn Konoha to the ground," Orochimaru mused silently. "Welcome to Odagakure, at least part of it, Naruto-kun. And what do you wish to become when you grow up?" he asked. "I want to be a big, strong ninja," Naruto exclaimed eagerly. "I can help you with that. I could train you," Orochimaru said, shocking Naruto, Kimimaro, and Teuya alike. "Really?" Naruto stammered, amazed that the man he had just met would offer such a thing. Orochimaru simply nodded. Naruto began jumping in excitement. "Ni-chan, I'm going to be an awesome ninja," Naruto cheered. Teuya smiled at his enthusiasm, which caught Orochimaru's attention. "This training will not be easy, Naruto-kun," Orochimaru warned. "I don't care," Naruto declared. Flashback end hash, so Orochimaru is in control of Odagakure? Hiruzen asked, receiving a nod from Naruto. The old man sighed. "And what are you scheming now, my wayward student?" Hiruzen muttered. "He plans to abduct Sasuke and attack the leaf," Naruto said, startling Hiruzen. "What?" Hiruzen exclaimed. "Orochimaru wants the Sharingan, hence marking Sasuke. He also intends to strike the leaf. But knowing this, we can prepare," Naruto explained. "And how do you know he'll attack?" Hiruzen pressed. "I still have eyes in that village like I told my former sensei," Naruto replied. "When did you meet with Orochimaru?" Hiruzen asked, anxious. "The day after I reached the tower. He tried to intimidate me, but he ended up teaching me, probably more than he intended," Naruto said, smirking. "What can you tell me about Odagakure?" Hiruzen asked. "It's been over 4 years since I was last there. I know some base locations, though I doubt Orochimaru would leave them exposed. But I can share what I know," Naruto answered. Hiruzen nodded. "Just give me what you can," Hiruzen said. 20 minutes later hash, and once I have access to the Senju compound, I can destroy much of their research," Naruto explained. Hiruzen nodded. "Also, one more person will be under my protection after the invasion," Naruto added, receiving another nod. "If that's all, I need to get moving," Naruto continued. Hiruzen nodded. "Dismissed," Hiruzen said. "And these three?" Naruto asked, gesturing to the Sound Ninja team. Hiruzen nodded. "Come on," Naruto ordered. The 4 of them left the room. "Koribunshin no Jutsu Ice Clone Jutsu," Naruto muttered as he exited. "Take these 3 to the Senju compound," he instructed his clone, motioning to the Sound trio. "Go ahead, I'll catch up," Naruto said. 10 minutes later, Jiraiya's house hash Naruto entered to see Haku, Fu, and Karin lounging about. "Hey, you 3, Naruto greeted. "Nick-san," Fu and Karin shouted simultaneously, rushing to hug him before glaring at each other. "Calm down, play nice," Naruto said, earning nods. Haku, however, wrapped her arms around his neck, kissing his cheek. "What did Anko-sensei want to talk about?" Fu asked curiously. "She once had a curse mark removed and didn't know by whom. Seeing me use Fuinjutsu in prelims, she realized it was me and wanted to thank me," Naruto explained. Fu nodded. "All right, we need to pack," Naruto said. "Pack, why?" Haku asked. "We're moving. More people are under my protection now, and Jiraiya's house isn't large enough," Naruto explained, receiving nods from the 3 girls. "So, where are we going, Naruto-ne?" Karin asked. The Senju compound, Naruto replied with a smile. Naruto led his adopted sisters and girlfriend to the Senju compound. To their surprise, the gates were already open. Naruto walked through the streets, uncertain where his clone had gone. At the center, a water feature stood, with the three Odo genin looking around in fear. "Why are they here?" Fu asked. "They're friends from my time in Otagakure, now under Uzumaki protection. This is the safest place for them," Naruto said, surprising the girls. "Everyone behave and play nice. The main house is mine, the rest is fair game," Naruto instructed, earning nods. "I wonder how they're doing," Naruto muttered. "Who?" a voice asked. Naruto turned to see Haku. "No one," he dodged. "It didn't sound like no one," Haku replied. "They're just people I met as a kid. Haven't seen them in years," Naruto admitted, looking down. "I'm sure they're fine, Naruto-kun," Haku smiled. Naruto returned the smile, pulling her into a hug. "Thanks, Haku-chan," he said. No problem, Naruto-kun," Haku stammered, hugging him back. After a moment too short for her liking, they separated. "What can I do for you, Haku-chan?" Naruto asked. "I was wondering if I could stay here with you," Haku began. "Of course, Haku-chan," Naruto interrupted with a nod. She smiled, and the two headed toward the main house. At the end of the main street stood a 3-story wooden house. Inside, the first floor had a dining room with a table for 20, a kitchen, and a lounge with wooden furniture. They explored further, finding a laundry room as well. Upstairs, 4 rooms awaited, 3 on one side and a large library on the other. "Wow, this place is huge," Naruto said, marveling at the rows of shelves. "Yeah, it's impressive," Haku agreed. "Let's explore later. We have more to see," Naruto said, moving on. The second floor had 2 bedrooms and a bathroom with multiple seals, including one to maintain water temperature and another to sterilize it. The duo ascended to the 3rd floor, which had 6 rooms, 3 standard bedrooms, a bathroom, and 2 special rooms. "This is massive," Naruto said as he stepped into the master bedroom, which was nearly twice the size of the other rooms. The bed sat proudly in the center, a wooden frame like the others but more elaborate, adorned with dragon carvings along the edges. On either side, matching bedside tables held small lamps. A door led to the final room on the 3rd floor, and the duo walked over to it. It opened into a bathroom, but unlike the others, this one featured a bath, a shower, and something that looked almost like a jacuzzi. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Considering the Shadame and Nidame Hokage were humble men, a jacuzzi seemed a little over the top, but he shook it off and returned to the bedroom. "Well, guess it's time to unpack," Naruto said with a shrug. Next day, Naruto, Haku, and Fu made their way to Training Ground 7. Along the road, the streets were quiet, few shops open, not surprising, as it was before 7 in the morning. Upon arriving, the trio realized they were the last ones to show up. Even Kakashi had arrived before them. "Nice of you 3 to finally join us," Kakashi greeted, prompting Naruto to roll his eyes while Haku and Fu shot him a sharp glare. "So, what's the plan today, Kakashi-sensei?" Naruto asked. "Well," Kakashi began, "you 5 have a month to train, so I wanted to discuss your plan for the next month." His students raised eyebrows at the announcement. "As much as I'd like to train each of you personally, I can't. Some of you may already have plans," Kakashi continued, earning nods from his genin. "My Ka-chan said she'll handle my training personally unless there's team practice," Kiba said, raising a hand. "There won't be any team training," Kakashi replied. "All 5 of you made it to the finals, so it wouldn't be fair if someone had tricks the others didn't know." Kiba nodded. "Then I'll see you all at the finals," Kiba said, Akamaru barking in agreement as they left the training ground. Kakashi turned to Hinata. "My father told me he'd train me for the finals, aside from team duties, so goodbye and good luck," Hinata said before departing. Next, Kakashi looked at Fu, the mint-haired, mocha-skinned girl. "I want to work," she began, her voice fading as she nervously fidgeted. "I'm sorry, Fu, I didn't catch that," Kakashi said, looking at her. "I want to work on my basics," she muttered, eyes downcast. "Imoto, there's nothing wrong with that. It's better to acknowledge your weaknesses than be defeated by them," Naruto said, putting a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Naruto's right," Kakashi added. "Mastering what you know before moving forward is the key." Fu looked up, reassured. After a moment, Kakashi snapped his fingers. "I know exactly who can help you this month, Fu-chan." I'll speak with him today, and if he agrees, I'll tell you when and where to meet. Fu nodded eagerly. Turning to Haku, Kakashi asked, "And you?" "I want to focus on my Hayaten Jutsu. Since no one here but Naruto-kun has the bloodline, I'll train alone," Haku replied, then leaned in to plant a kiss on Naruto's cheek before disappearing in a swirl of snow. Finally, Kakashi faced Naruto. "I'm up against Gaara, and though Hayaten is my main weapon, it won't fare well against his sand. I want to improve my rate and affinity," Naruto explained. "I think I can help with that," Kakashi said. "I can't leave the village. I have people depending on me," Naruto added. Kakashi nodded thoughtfully, understanding. "All right. For now, you're dismissed. Meet back here at 1, and I'll have a plan for both of you," Kakashi said. They left the training grounds, Naruto scratching his chin as he remembered Dasu had also made the finals and lacked a teacher. "I have to go, Fu. Someone needs to see," Naruto said. "Okay, Nig-san, see you later," Fu replied, skipping off. Naruto smiled and vanished in a swirl of snow. Jiraiya's home Naruto appeared before his godfather's house, debating whether Dasu should train under him. He trusted no one else in Konoha for this task. He knocked. "Coming," Jiraiya called. Moments later, the perverted white-haired Sannin opened the door. "Oh, Naruto, do you need training for the finals?" Jiraiya asked. "Yes and no, Oji-san. A friend of mine from the Odo village, currently staying at the Senju compound, made the finals too. I trust no one but you to train him," Naruto explained. "One of the Odo kids, Sensei mentioned you were helping him defect," Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded. "All right, I'll train him, but I need to know how you contacted Odo and who your spies are," Jiraiya said. "I'll tell you everything after the finals," Naruto replied. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. "I just want to prove my strength before everyone knows who trained me," Naruto added. "Fair enough, Gaki. You've got a deal," Jiraiya said. "Thank you, Oji-san," Naruto said with a smile. "Give me a minute, and then we'll meet your temporary student," Jiraiya said, stepping back inside. It was a warm summer day in Konoha. The village buzzed with activity as the Chunin exam finals brought excitement and commerce. Naruto stood in the arena beside Dasu, Haku, Fu, Hinata, Kiba, Shikamaru, Choji munching on chips. Shino, with insects buzzing around him, Temari with her closed fans strapped to her back, and Gaara the Ikibai Jinchuriki. "Welcome to the finals of the Chunin exams. We have a spectacular show ahead," Hiruzen announced from the cage box, Kazekage sitting impassively beside him. A senbon-chewing Jonin appeared on the field. "Hello, I'm Genma Shiranui, proctor for this stage," he said, earning nods from the genin. "The rules are simple. Fight until one gives up, is incapacitated, or I call it," Genma explained. "First match. Dasu Kinuta of Odo versus Shino Aburame of Konoha," he continued. Genma asked the other genin to step aside. Naruto placed a hand on Dasu's shoulder. "Don't slack off. He'll take advantage if you do," Naruto warned. Dasu nodded. "Good luck, Shino-san," Naruto said as he stepped aside. "Ready?" Genma asked. "Ready," Dasu said, crouching into a fighting stance. "I'm ready," Shino replied. "Begin," Genma called, jumping back. The two circled each other, waiting for an opening. Dasu struck first, lunging with his vibrating arm. Shino leapt back, forming hand signs. "Katen. Gakikyu no Jutsu," Shino shouted, fireball launching forward. "Shindo Nai," Dasu countered, his arm vibrating to form a shield. The fireball disintegrated into smoke. From the cloud, Shino's insect swarm shot toward Dasu, who quickly jumped back. "Yoso Senritsu Mizuhari Elemental Melody Water Needle," Dasu called out, his gauntlet vibrating and pulling the moisture in the air into hundreds of sharp needles that shot forward, slicing through the swarm of insects and cutting their numbers nearly in half. Shino's frown deepened at the sudden loss of his insects, and he hastily recalled them, gripping a kunai tightly as he surged forward. He knew Dasu excelled in close-range combat, especially with that mechanical arm of his, but he couldn't risk leaving his hive exposed. Any long-range jutsu would be hindered by Dasu's shield, though Shino had prepared. He had plugged his ears against sound-based techniques and layered his skin with chakra, shielding him from everything but direct vibrations. Swinging his kunai down at Dasu, Shino was met with Dasu's gauntleted arm raising to block. The metallic clash sparked a blinding white flash, forcing Shino to stumble back. Dasu spun, slamming his foot into Shino's side. He knew he couldn't close in. The insects would backfire on him, and long-range vibrations were useless against Shino's chakra shield. Dasu's eyes flicked, sensing the protective layer on Shino's skin. "You're quite talented," Dasu remarked, regaining his stance. "So are you, Dasu-san," Shino replied, still shaken but pushing himself upright. "Yoso Senritsu Seiteki Bunya Elemental Melody Static Field," Dasu declared, sending vibrations through the air to create a dense field of static electricity around him. As Shino's vision cleared, he saw lightning arcing and gathering around Dasu, who pointed his index and middle fingers. A jagged bolt shot toward Shino, barely intercepted by a log he substituted in its path, shattering it into fragments. Dasu dropped low as Shino's kunai whistled overhead, and when Shino charged again, another kunai ready, Dasu revealed a surprise. From the smoke in his hand emerged a strange sword shaped like a giant tuning fork. It vibrated violently, blocking Shino's strike and knocking his kunai away. In a swift motion, Dasu lunged, grabbing Shino by the neck. "Give up or this will hurt," Dasu warned, his gaze sharp. Shino nodded. "Proctor, I forfeit," Shino called, and as the proctor appeared, Dasu released him. "Winner by forfeit, Dasu Kinta," Genma announced. Medics rushed to attend Shino, who stood and walked over to them, while Dasu strode impassively toward the competitor's booth. Next match, Temari Sabaku of Suna vs. Haku Yuki of Konoha. "Combatants, please enter the arena," Genma called. Temari flicked her fan, leaping over the railing to float gracefully to the arena floor. "Good luck, Haku-chan," Naruto said with a grin, planting a quick kiss on her cheek. "Get in close and freeze her," he whispered, audible only to Haku. "Thanks, Naruto-kun," Haku replied, hugging him briefly before turning and leaping over the railing herself. She vanished in a swirl of snow and reappeared opposite Temari, expression unreadable. "Ready?" Genma asked, receiving nods from both Kunoichi. "Begin," he called, jumping aside. Temari leapt back, fan in hand, while Haku observed her calmly. "You don't look so strong," Temari taunted lazily, leaning on her fan. Haku suddenly surged forward at astonishing speed, her fist shooting toward Temari, who barely dodged. Haku grabbed the tip of Temari's fan, momentarily confusing her, but the Suna Kunoichi retaliated with a palm strike that knocked Haku back. Temari cursed, tossing her fan aside and drawing a kunai, infusing it with futon chakra as she charged. Haku responded immediately. "Hayaten Huryu no Jutsu Ice-style Ice Dragon Jutsu," summoning a dragon of ice that lunged forward. Temari leapt aside, hurling shuriken, but Haku's hands blurred as she deftly intercepted the attack. "Futon Repusho Wind-style Gale Palm," Temari shouted, sending a gale speeding toward Haku. Yet Haku's ice sheet appeared just in time, stopping the weapons mere millimeters from her face. Dropping her hand sign, the ice melted, letting the weapons clatter to the ground. Temari drew another kunai, swinging overhead, only for Haku to form an ice sword to block it. A swift kick sent Temari flying backward. "You bitch," Temari growled, glaring at Haku. "Hayaten Kori Surasa no Jutsu Ice Release Ice Slicer Jutsu," Haku called, sending flying ice discs. Temari dodged, refusing to yield. She charged again, only to be met with Hayaten Shimo Buresu Ice-style Frost Breath. Haku exhaled, freezing the kunai in Temari's hands. Haku closed in, kneeing Temari in the gut and smashing her forward with a combination of strikes until the Suna Kunoichi collapsed, unconscious. "Winner by knockout, Haku Yuki of Konoha," Genma declared as medics rushed to Temari. Next match, Hinata Hyuga vs. Shikamaru Nara, both of Konoha. "Competitors, step forward," Genma called. Hinata's gaze met Shikamaru's calculating stare. Subtly activating her Byakugan, she noted his strategy-focused expression. "Don't give him a chance to think," Naruto whispered. Hinata nodded slightly, taking the advice seriously. "Ready?" Genma asked. "Ready," Hinata replied, eyes narrowing. "Troublesome, I'm ready," Shikamaru said. "Begin," Genma announced, leaping aside. Hinata surged forward with astonishing speed, chakra-coated hands aimed at Shikamaru. He quickly kawarimied with a nearby log, narrowly escaping her assault. Her speed's improved since the prelims, Shikamaru thought, narrowly dodging a kunai through the trunk he was hiding behind. Re-emerging into the open, he spotted Hinata holding a weapon, a surprise that drew gasps from the crowd and a smirk from Naruto. Interesting choice, Hinata, Naruto thought. Hinata charged, feet floating above the ground, rapier in hand. Consider yourself lucky, Shika, you're my ally, or this would hurt more, she said, striking his tenketsu with a chakra-infused jab. Shikamaru Kawarimied again, retreating behind another log. As a kunai whizzed past, Shikamaru rolled into the shadows, hands flying in the Nara clan's signature jutsu. Kageme no Jutsu, Shadow Possession Jutsu, Shikamaru called, sending his shadow lunging forward to wrap around Hinata, freezing her mid-step. Phew, this gives me a moment to think, Shikamaru mused, keeping his eyes down as he tried to hatch a strategy. But just as he began formulating a plan, he felt his jutsu break. His head snapped up, only to see a log crashing where Hinata had stood, followed by a sharp pain in his back as Hinata almost launched him straight into the center of the arena. Groaning, Shikamaru got to his feet, just as Hinata charged again with her rapier aimed at him. Proctor, I forfeit, Shikamaru called, prompting Hinata to veer past him and jog onward. Winner by forfeit, Hinata Hyuga, Genma announced, reappearing in the arena's center. Not that I mind winning, but why'd you give up, Shika? Hinata asked, tilting her head in confusion. You're faster, have more techniques, and I wasn't getting a chance to plan. It's just easier to let you have this one, Shikamaru replied. Next match, Choji Akimichi of Konoha vs Kiba Inuzuka of Konoha, will begin shortly, Genma announced. Hinata moved to the competitor box, while Shikamaru headed to the medics to check his shoulder. Kiba and Choji shared apologetic looks as they stepped onto the arena floor. Finish this fast and don't get hit, Naruto instructed Kiba, who nodded in agreement. The two faced off, roughly 10 feet apart. Akamaru leapt from Kiba's head, landing beside him with a growl ready for combat. Are both combatants ready? Genma asked. Yes, said Kiba. Ready, Choji confirmed. Begin, Genma shouted, jumping back. Beika no Jutsu Expansion Jutsu, Choji called, his body ballooning to around 10 feet in diameter. Jujin Bunshin, Man-Beast Clone, Kiba announced, tossing a red pill to Akamaru, whose fur glowed briefly before transforming into a clone of Kiba. Nikyuden Sensha, Human Boulder, Choji roared, retracting his limbs into his body and launching toward Kiba. Getsuga, Fang over Fang, Kiba yelled, spinning with his Akamaru clone as they charged like twin cyclones at Choji. The clash at the arena's center sent shockwaves outward. Kiba and Akamaru ricocheted off Choji's boulder form, yet continued spinning violently, refusing to yield. After several collisions, Kiba and Akamaru managed to knock Choji off course into a wall, though he retaliated, hurling them toward a tree. Why you giving up yet, Puff, Kiba? Choji asked, peeking out from his compressed form. Not a puff chance, Kiba declared. Akamaru at his side growled in agreement. Choji shrank back, reaching for a long wire with kunai along its length and wrapping it around himself. Beika no Jutsu Expansion Jutsu, Choji called, expanding again and tightening the wire with blades pointing outward. Kiba and Akamaru nodded to each other. Jinju Kanbai Henge, Satoru Man-Beast Transformation Combo, Two-Headed Wolf, Kiba yelled, performing hand signs as smoke engulfed him and Akamaru. The smoke cleared, revealing a two-headed wolf slightly smaller than Choji. Nikyuden Hari Sensha, Spiky Human Boulder, Choji roared, rolling forward with kunai spinning. Garoga Wolf Fang over Fang, the wolf bellowed, spinning violently toward Choji. They collided, grinding against each other, then ricocheted into the arena walls. Both combatants were knocked out, Choji shrinking to normal size, Kiba and Akamaru shrouded in smoke. Both combatants unconscious, winner. Tai, Genma called as medics rushed in. Final match of round 1, Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha vs Gura Sabaku of Suna, Genma announced. Two small elemental cyclones formed on the arena floor, one of sand, the other snow. As the storms dissipated, Naruto and Gaara appeared. Are both combatants ready? Genma asked, receiving nods from both. Begin, he called, leaping back farther than in any previous match. Naruto caught the cork from Gaara's gourd midair. Bad choice, buddy, Naruto taunted, drawing Same Nikuya from his back and flooding it with Raiten chakra. Gaara's arms remained crossed, watching. Naruto sprinted forward, slashing through Gaara's sand defenses with surprising speed. Before Gaara could react, Naruto's fist slammed into his gut, sending him flying into the arena wall. The gourd shattered, partially cushioning the impact, but Gaara groaned as his sand bent unnaturally. Naruto readied his bow, letting loose a Raiten-charged arrow that pierced Gaara's sand and his shoulder, drawing blood. "What this?" Gaara gasped, horrified at seeing his own blood. "Naruto-kun, Shukaku's seal is weakening, a rogue Biju may appear," Akin's voice warned in Naruto's mind. "Then I'll seal him properly," Naruto decided, firing 2 more lightning arrows that struck Gaara's shoulder and gut, causing him to scream. Gaara's sand pulled back toward him, forming a protective dome. "Naruto, he's coming," Akin shouted. "Understood," Naruto replied, rushing forward with Same Nakuya, determined to split the dome and seal Shukaku. A pale arm shot out, forcing Naruto back. Smoke billowed from the cage box, and the crowd was caught in a wide-range genjutsu, many reaching for weapons. The invasion of Konoha had begun. Naruto scanned the arena, firing arrows at auto ninjas attacking civilians. He returned focus to Gaara, whose sand had transformed into a grotesque, skin-like layer. "Uzumaki," Genma started. "Sorry, Genma. Priority 1, Biju," Naruto interrupted, sprinting toward Gaara with Fu and Haku appearing beside him. "Take care of Temari and Kankuro," Naruto ordered, receiving nods. "Got Temari," Haku said flatly, Fu following suit. The trio chased the Suna siblings across the arena walls and into the village. "Hayaten Huryu no Jutsu Ice Style, Ice Dragon Jutsu," Naruto called, sending an ice dragon at the siblings, who managed to dodge despite the chaos. Naruto growled, noticing a flicker from the corner of his eye. "Watch out!" shouted Naruto, grabbing Haku and Fu and pulling them aside just as a storm of kunai whizzed past the spot they had been standing. "Where do you think you're going, leaf brats?" sneered a sound ninja, gripping a kunai with a cocky grin. "Damn, we don't have time for this," muttered Naruto, only to see a shadow leap over him, landing between him and the Odo ninja. "You guys go on ahead, I've got this," Dasu called without looking back. "Dasu, you traitor!" The Odo ninja growled, glaring daggers at him. "Don't get arrogant or dead," Naruto said, turning away. "I can't die now, I need to even our battle record," Dasu replied with a grin. "Thanks, Dasu," Naruto said briefly. "Don't mention it," Dasu responded as Naruto leapt forward. "Thank you," Haku said, hopping off Fu, who followed closely behind. "You know, I never liked you, Dasu," the Odo ninja spat. "I always wanted to slide a kunai across your neck while you slept, but awake works too," Dasu replied with a grin, pulling out his weapon. With Hiruzen from the smoke rising out of the box below, the Hokage stepped forward, glancing at the Kazekage. "Orochimaru, I assume," Hiruzen said softly, offering a sad smile. "You look disappointed, sensei," Orochimaru replied, reaching up and peeling off the fake face, revealing the familiar visage Hiruzen had known for years. The aging Hokage shook his head. "How far you've fallen, Orochimaru," Hiruzen murmured, studying his wayward student. "I haven't fallen, sensei," Orochimaru said, an insane grin spreading across his face. "I've risen beyond what I ever imagined, nearly conquering death itself." "Naruto said you lost the little sanity you had left," muttered Hiruzen, glancing at his student, only to notice 4 nins surrounding them. He kept his eyes on Orochimaru while subtly tracking the 4 forming a box around them. "Kuchios no Jutsu," Hiruzen shouted, biting his thumb and forming hand signs before striking the ground. A plume of smoke revealed Enma standing firm. "Hiruzen, I see. Time to right the wrongs of your past?" the massive monkey asked. "I should have listened to you years ago, old friend. Now it's finally time to make amends," Hiruzen replied. "Henge Konganioi," Enma called, transforming into a black staff with golden caps amidst a cloud of smoke. "You can try, sensei, but things have changed. You've grown old and weak while I've only grown stronger," Orochimaru boasted, surrounding them with a purple, rectangular barrier. Hiruzen frowned. "And I brought some company," Orochimaru smirked, forming hand signs and striking the ground. "Kuchios Edo Tensei," he yelled as 3 coffins rose from the roof, marked 1, 2, and 4. "I have to stop him," Hiruzen muttered, pulling shuriken and throwing them at coffin number 4, halting it. "Shame, but no matter, reborn," Orochimaru shrieked as the remaining lids lifted. With Kakashi back-to-back, the silver-haired Jonin and his rival Guy faced the battlefield. "Come now, my eternal rival, you're lagging. That was my 40th, Guy called, pulling back his fist. You're losing your edge, I'm already at 45, Kakashi replied, gripping his kunai. Slowpokes, I'm up to 60, Anko said with a smirk, landing beside them. Wake up, Anko. I'm at 75, Kurenai replied, twirling a kunai in her hand. Don't get cocky, Nai-chan, Anko said, tossing a kunai at Kurenai, who ducked as it sailed over and struck an Oto ninja behind her. Or else things might get messy, Anko teased, while Kurenai rolled her eyes. With Naruto, Haku, and Fu, the three Konoha ninjas sprinted after the Suna siblings through the forest. Naruto leapt higher while Haku and Fu kept pace, following closely. Naruto drew his bow, notching 3 arrows and firing them at the Suna nin. Temari quickly moved Gaara out of the way, but the last arrow struck Kankuro's puppet. Damn it, Temari, take Gaara forward. I'll try to buy you some time, Kankuro urged. Please don't get yourself killed, Temari pleaded as they ran. Haku, Naruto-ne, go ahead. I've got this, Fu said, standing opposite Kankuro. Haku nodded and followed. Hey, get back here, Kankuro yelled, sending his puppet at Haku. I'm your opponent, jerk, Fu shot back, kicking him and sending him flying. Damn you, brat, Kankuro growled as a blur passed them. Stay safe, Fu, Naruto called, racing to catch up. I'll get you for that, girl, Kankuro shouted, launching his puppet at her. Katten. Gakakyu no Jutsu, a new voice announced. Oh, now what? Kankuro asked, pausing. You can rejoin Naruto-san and Haku-san, Fu-chan, Shino's monotone voice said, appearing in the trees. No, we can handle this together, Fu grinned. Then so be it, Shino agreed, landing beside her. With Haku and Naruto, the Yuki duo continued through the trees, chasing Gaara and Temari. Naruto fired another volley of arrows, which embedded in a branch ahead, leaving the siblings unbothered. He slung his bow back, drawing Same Nikuya in readiness. Get ready, Naruto whispered to Haku, who nodded. As planned, Temari and Gaara landed on the arrow-laden branch, boom. The explosion sent the siblings flying in opposite directions. Gaara, Temari yelled as she was hurled away. Keep her occupied, this could get dangerous, Naruto instructed, with Haku acknowledging. All right, brother, let's fix your problems, Naruto said, leaping toward Gaara. With Haku and Temari, nice to see you moving fast after getting your ass handed to you, Haku smirked, landing opposite Temari. Step aside, Temari demanded. I'm going to say no, Haku replied, forming a hand sign. Then prepare to die, I have to get to my brother, Temari narrowed her eyes. Come at me full force, none of that pansy stuff from the exams, Haku snarled. You asked for it, Temari said, unfurling her fan. Futon, Daitapa, she called, sending a massive wind wave. Katten. Gakakyu no Jutsu, Haku countered, unleashing a fireball into the wind. With Naruto and Gaara, Naruto chased the airborne genin as sand formed a protective shell around Gaara. Blood mother wants blood, Gaara roared, slamming into a tree before facing Naruto. Come and get it, Naruto taunted, slicing through Gaara's sand with Same Nikuya. This chakra tastes foul, tainted, Shirley said inside Naruto's mind. Something's corrupting Shukaku, Akin added. Like what? Naruto asked. A foreign chakra like a soul latched onto him, Shirley explained. Got it. He's your brother, Naruto said with a grin, leaping over another sand stream. His left hand glowed with icy mist as he slammed it into Gaara's sand shoulder, freezing it, then flipped and shattered the ice with a kick. Damn you, Gaara growled, using sand to fling Naruto back. Naruto landed 50 feet away on a tree, staring him down. Prove my existence, Uzumaki, Gaara snarled, sending more sand forward. Naruto drove an explosive arrow into it, detonating and scattering the sand. This is going to get annoying, Naruto muttered, biting his thumb and dragging it across his fox tattoo, then striking the ground. Kuchios no Jutsu, he called, summoning a massive cloud of smoke. Naruto-sama, how may I assist? Asked the seven-tailed kitsune, barely looking at him. I need you to distract the one-tailed Jinchuriki while I work on the seal, Naruto said, leaping onto the fox's nose. As you wish, Naruto-sama, replied the fox.